sun came back again. They said, boy, you won't make it. The Most High said different. Why I said amen. Let's go. From the red clay roads where the lights play low, Lil Sean had faith even when the funds were low. Grandma sang hymns with a tear in her eye. Told him, baby, stay strong, the Most High gon' provide. Mama and stepdad holding on through the rain, turning life's hard pain into a lifelong game. He packed them dreams in a Navy duffel tight, but even in the ocean he still had to fight. Yeah, still had to fight. Yeah, he been down like Joe, rose like down, hands up high, still thanking the Most High. On a young, he lost some years, but he gave them back tenfold. Grace on the grind, that's a story well told. Yeah, restored again. Can I get an amen? Restored again. By the grace of the Most High, amen. Let's get it. Yeah, got out the service world, moving strange. Tried every hustle, but faith stayed the same. Folks laugh when he said he filmed his grind. Now 500,000 sold to his shine. From a cracked iPhone to a whole production. He ain't chase fame, he chase instruction. Every praise God coming to see that group. Prove that what the Most High start, the Most High will see through. Let's go, amen. Sometimes blessings take a long way home. Sometimes pain gotta make room for hope. Joe lost everything but never lost faith. Sean lost sleep but gained amazing grace. And the Lord restored Joe's fortunes when he prayed for his friends. And the Lord gave him twice as much as he had before. Job 42:10. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He been down like Joe, people roll like Joe. High, still thanking the Most High. On the young, he lost some years, but he gave them back tenfold. Grace on the grind, that's a story well told. Yeah, restored again. Can I get an amen? Restored again. By the grace of God, amen. Now grandma smiling her golden years. Mama and stepdad wipe away them tears. What was broke is blessed, what was pain is peace. Oh, faith don't fold, multiply the feast. Hey. Yeah. Yeah. Restored again. Now that's a righteous perspective. Yeah, restored again.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to ARP in the morning. I'm your brother Wise, man. I appreciate you guys pulling up on this fine Thursday morning. It's Friday Eve. Y'all believe that? We are a day away from the weekend. Goodness gracious, man, this time. The time flies. I got to tell you, man, time flies. Goodness gracious. We're about, 2 weeks away from Thanksgiving. Actually, I think we're almost legitimately 2 weeks away from Thanksgiving. For those that do celebrate Thanksgiving, for others that don't, but just, still get together. Hey, enjoy the holidays, man. They're right around the corner. Just to let you guys know right up front, that week, well, not the entire week, we'll be off, but we'll do shows Monday, Tuesday, but we'll be off the remainder of the week, that week, the week of Thanksgiving, just to give you guys a heads up. There'll still be some shorter videos that will come out, but the live stream will be on hiatus for that week, and probably, I think, we'll do the show on Tuesday, I believe, because I don't get in until late on Sunday night. So we'll see. We'll see. But appreciate you guys pulling up, man. Hit the like button on the way in the building if you haven't done so already. Shout out to Lonnie King. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. C Cook in the building, and Lori Ottison. Y'all make sure y'all follow her instructions. Happy Friday Eve, y'all. She's number 2. And please hit that like button on the way in. What up, Soul Driver? How you doing this morning? What's up, Ayon? How you doing this morning, sister? Good to see you. In the chat, Sugar Shane in the building. Shout out to you. Shout out to you, Sugar Shane. All right. Hadassah in the building. Chisaksi in the building. Shout out to you. Appreciate you. What up, Quincy? How you doing this morning? Quincy stayed up with us late last night, up early with us this morning. As y'all can see, I got my mushroom coffee right here. I'm struggling. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm struggling this morning. The Wednesday morning show, it's a struggle for sure, but we're gonna make it do what it do. We're gonna make it do what it do, no matter what. What's up, Junior Ray? How you doing this morning? Nelly in the building. I know I saw the sister B in the building. Shout out to you. B stayed up late with us last night. I believe Lori did as well. You guys are soldiers, man. Thank you guys. Thank you guys, man. Shout out to Mr. Largy. B, you get your coffee yet? Take the dogs out. Hopefully you got your coffee. Help you get through this today. Hopefully, I don't plan to hold on to you guys too long. You know, every time I say that, it turns into a 3-hour show. But I don't plan on holding on to you guys too long today. But good morning, man, and thank you to the Blues. Just for hanging out with us, man. Thank you guys for doing what you do on a day-to-day basis, man. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you guys very much. What's up, Angela Montgomery? How you doing this morning? Good to see you. Hope all is well. What's going on, Hunter? How you doing this morning, brother? All right, this is exactly what I was looking for. Hunter's coming through with the Bible verse of the day. That today is out of 2 Kings, chapter 17, verse 38 through 39. It says, "Do not forget the covenant I made with you, and do not worship other gods. You must worship only the Lord your God. He is the one who will rescue you from all your enemies." Hey, let's make sure we keep Dion lifted up in prayer. I believe she has an interview this morning or this afternoon. I can't remember, but let's make sure we keep her lifted up. I believe she was laid off from her previous position a couple of weeks back, and she has an interview today. So let's make sure we keep her lifted up, and hopefully that this is the right opportunity for her. I never like to say, hey, that they get the job, because you just never know, right? You may be praying for the job and then you don't get the job, not understanding that that particular job wasn't for you. It was for someone else, and God had something better for you, but you got down and you were down and out because you didn't get the job you thought you wanted. I've been in that situation. I don't know how many of you guys have been in that situation, but I've been in that situation, thinking I wanted an opportunity. And yeah, it was a good opportunity, but in the grand scheme of things, the Lord had something even greater and better for me right down the line. I just had to have patience and continue to put my faith in Him. And, when I started living my life understanding that, hey, just because you want it doesn't necessarily mean it's for you. When you come to that realization or that understanding, it does make life a whole heck of a lot easier. So let's keep Dion lifted up, at least, one, that she gets there safely, and two, that she's able to present herself in the best light possible. But at the same time, again, like I said, if that opportunity is for her, let it be for her. But if it's not, you never know. The Lord may have something even better for her right down the line. So, we just never know. All right. But let's keep her lifted up. Appreciate you guys, man. All righty. Who else is up in here? Marcy Richards in the building. What's up, Teddy? How's it going this morning? We got Bobby Matt in the building. Shout out to you. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. All righty. We're going to go ahead and get the show kicked off. What's up, Kristen Knight? Appreciate you pulling up. Papa Died in the building. Papa Died had the jokes last night. Papa Died had the joke last night. Crystal with that shoulder out. It's hilarious. Shout out to the Energizer Bunny coming through with the $5 super chat. Says, good morning, brothers and sisters. Grace and peace to you. Thank you very much. Energizer Bunny. Appreciate you supporting the channel. What's up, Ryan? How's it going, man? Appreciate you. Luby Fishing. Appreciate you pulling up. Toy Mafia. Appreciate you pulling up as well. Thank you very much. What's up, Malachi? How's it going, man? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Be safe out there on the road. Mr. Largy in the building. Shout out to you. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Thank you guys very much, man. All right. We're going to get the show kicked off. Shout out to Jonathan Hunter joining the ARP family. Appreciate you supporting what we're doing over here, bro. Thank you very much. Grace and peace to you, man. Grace and peace. What's up, Renee Suzanne? How you doing? It's good to see you. What up, Mark? How's it going, man? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Hope all is well. What's up, Faith in You? Appreciate you pulling up. Seabergy in the building. What up, Vernon? How's it going, man? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. What's going on with you, bro? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Thank you very much. Grace and peace to you, man. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate you guys pulling up. What's up, Queen B? Appreciate you pulling up. You can see where you hit me with the yo wise. You a mess. What's up, Deb? How you doing this morning? Good to see you in the chat. Appreciate you guys. What up, Yuck? How's it going, man? Appreciate you pulling up. Appreciate you guys pulling up this morning. Hit that like button if you could. Super chat, super thanks are greatly appreciated. Shout out to Eric Plummer supporting the channel via Cash App. Thank you guys for buying your brother a coffee. And if you'd like to buy your brother a coffee, that link's in the description box below. Thank you guys very much. Deb said she loved the show last night. Okay, outstanding. Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, I never know. So I really do need your feedback, you know, because I get off of it, you know, and I think it does kind of start to run together, especially when it gets later. I hope you guys appreciate the fact that we shut it down before 12 o'clock last night, which is phenomenal. And I'd like to make that happen going forward. I don't want us to be up until 1 o'clock in the morning, man. What's up, Spaces? What's going on with you, bro? Yeah, Deb. Queen Bee's here. She's in there. She's in the chat somewhere. I saw her not too long ago. But yeah, we're gonna try to we don't want the we don't want the show to last too long, and I want to try to keep things moving. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Oh, Marcy, don't start that this morning. Rolando is gonna be in the building. Do not start that this morning, Marcy. You know, Rolando, it went left for a quick second yesterday morning. And yeah, don't start that this morning, Marcy. Oh my goodness. Do not get Rolando started this morning. Do not get him started this morning. Goodness gracious. All right, let's get the show started, man. Again, hit the like button for me if you haven't done so already. Thank you guys for pulling up. Let's get the show started.
CNN breaking news.
All right, we do have breaking news in the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. Democrats on the House Oversight Committee, minutes ago, literally, releasing emails that they say were written by Jeffrey Epstein that explicitly, specifically mention Donald Trump by name and in context that we really haven't heard before. Let's get right to Caitlin Collins, who's got this reporting. Caitlin, what are you learning?
Yeah, John, these are emails that show Jeffrey Epstein mentioning Donald Trump by name multiple times in private correspondence that he had with people, including Ghislaine Maxwell, obviously his longtime associate and accomplice, and also the author Michael Wolff, in a time span of about the last 15 years or so in these emails. Now, these are coming out from the House Oversight Committee. They had issued a bipartisan subpoena to Jeffrey Epstein's estate, John, as you know, earlier this year. And so they've gotten their hands on a trove of documents. And these are emails that included Jeffrey Epstein on them. They were sent either to him or from him that mentioned Donald Trump before he was in office and also while he was in office.
Okay, here we go. Oh my goodness, man. So this week, the media once again tried to spin a smear campaign against the president. And like clockwork, it blew up in their faces. And I think a lot of you guys expected it to be or expected it to happen. CNN and a few left-wing outlets ran with what they called bombshell emails, supposedly proving Trump's deep connection to Jeffrey Epstein. They hyped it up like it was the final nail in the coffin. Headlines about Trump named in Epstein correspondence. Trump knew about the girls and Trump was close with the trafficking victims. I mean, all of it was designed to make people believe that the president was somehow guilty by association. I don't know if you guys seen the emails, but we'll share it here in a second, but let's keep going.
During his first term. And I want to walk you through these emails of what exactly we are reading in Jeffrey Epstein's own.
I got to ask you guys in the chat, if they really, like, if this was really damning information, Do you guys believe that this information would have come out this year or would have come out last year or 2 years ago or 3 years ago or 4 years ago? These people are ridiculous, man. Seriously.
Words in these emails that have been released by the House Oversight Committee. And in one of them, Jeffrey Epstein says, and I should note, Trump did not send or receive any of these messages. He's not a party to these emails, John, but these are emails from Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell. This is one from April 2nd, 2011. And in this email, Jeffrey Epstein writes to Ghislaine Maxwell and says, quote, "I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. There's a name that's redacted, which the House Oversight Committee has said is a victim of Jeffrey Epstein's. Obviously, we have not been able to independently confirm that because her name is redacted from this email. But they say redacted spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned, police chief, etc. I'm 75% there." Ghislaine Maxwell responds to that email, John, and says, quote, "I have been thinking about that." Now, there's no context for that message in this release of what we're getting. Obviously, this was a time span, and this was about 3 years after Jeffrey Epstein had accepted what is now known as that sweetheart deal that only got him a few months in prison, and something that came under a ton of scrutiny during Donald Trump's first term in office because of his then Labor Secretary, Alex Acosta, who helped negotiate that plea deal, that sweetheart deal, for Jeffrey Epstein at the time. And so that's the context of this came about 3 years after he had negotiated that plea deal, John. And
This is about far as I'm gonna go, into this, but the story sounds ugly. It does. Until you actually look at the details. The emails, Democrats are hyping up. They weren't written by the president. They were not sent to him. They were messages from Jeffrey Epstein to his, I guess, closest associate, Miss Maxwell. In one of them, Epstein says the dog that hasn't barked is Trump, and mentions a woman later identified as one of his victims who had spent time around the president. And Democrats immediately jumped on it as proof that Trump knew about Epstein's crimes. But here's what they left out. The woman was Virginia Roberts Giuffre, the survivor who helped bring Epstein down. Virginia has said on video and under oath that Donald Trump never did anything appropriate or inappropriate. She said that he never hit on her, never touched her, never crossed the line. The only connection was that she once upon a time worked at Mar-a-Lago as a spa attendant, and Epstein met her there while trying to climb his way into the Palm Beach society. And when complaints came that, Epstein was targeting young staff, Trump banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago permanently. And even more telling, one of the lawyers representing Epstein's victim said Trump was the only powerful figure who actually picked up the phone, answered questions, and cooperated. He didn't dodge, didn't hide, didn't lawyer up. And according to that lawyer, Trump helped the investigation. He didn't obstruct it. And here's where it gets a little shady. Democrats redacted Virginia's name in the released emails, which is weird, pretending she was an anonymous victim, even though they knew exactly who she was and what she had said about the president. These people are ridiculous. They really are. And I get it. It may be a slow news week due to the shutdown. Due to the shutdown being lifted, or moving towards being lifted. But these people are disgusting. I think the American people, I think we all know, and we all have an understanding that if they truly had some real hard evidence, this information would have come out a long time ago. Seriously. It would have come out a long time ago. These are some, you know what? I don't want to talk about this no more. It just upsets me. This is ridiculous. Seriously. Shout out to Hunter coming through with the $20 super chat. Says, it just means Trump is going to have a massive payday from the lawsuits he would be filing from the lies idiots have made. Now Trump just needs to kick them while they're down and release all the names that are really on the list. Yeah. We'll see if that happens. I'm not sure if it's going to happen or if it's being used as leverage. Y'all know what time it is. Seriously, y'all know what time it is. It's ridiculous. I do want to play this one clip here, though. Let me make sure I'm right. Give me 1 second.
Years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story. And she had pictures, she had everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton, we had everything. I tried for 3 years to get it on, to no avail, and now it's all coming out, and it's like these new revelations, and I freaking had all of it. I'm so pissed right now. Like Brad Edwards, the attorney, 3 years ago, saying there will come a day when we will realize Jeffrey Epstein was the most prolific pedophile this country has ever known. I had it all 3 years ago. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story.
Yeah. Some powerful people. Now, just imagine for a second if the media actually did their job. Just imagine that for a quick second. If they actually told the truth, told the truth instead of running interference for their favorite political party, maybe the young lady, Virginia, would be alive still. Maybe. Because her own testimony, it is still out there. And she defended Trump, she exposed Epstein, but the media buried all of that and then dug up some old irrelevant emails to create a headline, anything to distract from Democrats crashing and burning after their shutdown fiasco. So, who do they always drag out when they need a distraction? None other than Donald J. Trump. Now let's talk the facts for a quick second. Something the press avoids like sunlight. Trump publicly explained his connection to Epstein years ago. He found out Epstein was recruiting from his staff, told him to knock it off. Epstein ignored him, and Trump kicked him out. End of the story. And the records back him up. Trump never went to the island, never rode on the famous plane, and never had the cozy relationship that Bill Clinton once had. Clinton shows up in the flight logs 28 times. 28 times. Trump can't find his name on there once. So when CNN and their Democrat buddies pretend that these new emails prove something sinister, it's just another hoax. It's just another distraction. It's just another psyop, to be honest with you. Trump wasn't Epstein's buddy, but, he was one of the few elites who actually called him out. And investigators even described Trump as someone who cooperated and helped expose the guy. And if you guys recall, it was Trump in 2016 who first put Epstein's name on the national stage by pointing to Clinton's island trips. And if Trump were guilty, why would he shine a spotlight on that? Meanwhile, the real Epstein crowd, the billionaires, the Ivy League kings, the global elites, somehow never get mentioned. Somehow. Trump's right. If the media wants to talk Epstein, start with Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, and the rest of that crew. And the bottom line is this. This is a very lazy smear from a desperate political establishment. The facts haven't changed. They haven't. Trump threw Epstein out, worked with investigators, and has been consistent for decades. The people who should be sweating aren't the ones who banned Epstein, but, they're the ones who partied with him on his island. Yeah. But let's keep it moving. I didn't want to spend too much time, on that because, it's pretty ridiculous. Pretty ridiculous. But what we do know and what we all understand, at least those of us on this side of things, we understand that mainstream media, the 98% of mainstream media that's not Fox, is just a propaganda arm for the DNC. I think we all understand that at this point. We all know that they are nothing more than a propaganda arm for the DNC. It is what it is, right? I'm gonna have to fix this camera. I can't do anything with it today. But let's keep it moving. In other news, the president signed the bill to reopen the federal government, bringing an end to what has now been the longest shutdown in U.S. history. Make no mistake about it. This is a massive, did I say massive? Massive defeat for the Democrats. After 43 days of political theater, of millions of Americans suffering without paychecks, without their SNAP benefits, or benefits in general, the party that claimed to be standing up for the little guy, that stand up for the working class, that stands up for the people, has absolutely nothing to show for it. Nothing to show for 40 plus days of starving folks out, or at least attempting to. But it didn't work. I want to say, and I want to show love to all of you guys. If you went out to the food banks, to the food pantries, if you went out and supplied food, if you went out there and volunteered, I want to show you guys some love, man, because I know when my wife and I, we went and did some shopping, and I don't want to, talk about what we did, but when we went over to the food pantry to talk about volunteering, they basically told us they don't need any more volunteers. And it was just, they had more people than they actually needed, at this time. So it was really, really awesome to see that the people showed up and showed out. It was really awesome to see Americans come out and say, hey, we're going to help. We're not going to allow people to starve because the people in DC can't get their ish in order. It was a beautiful thing to see, to be honest with you. It really was. And they were talking about, we were just asking questions because we went over there to figure out, how could you, go about and be a part of it, as a volunteer. And they were just talking about, how many people, have just flooded in, how many new volunteers they have, how much, food and things of that nature, have been coming in, because not only do they help, the families, but they also help the kids, with the after school snacks and snacks on the weekends and things of that nature. It was really, really cool to just find out and get an understanding of the people stepping up and trying to fill in that gap. It was awesome to see, man. It was really awesome to see. And I'm one of those kind of people, man. I said this about 2 or 3 weeks ago. This is an opportunity, for the church. This is an opportunity for the body of Christ to show up and show out. Now I can't speak and say, all of the people, that decided to donate their time or donate their resources, we're all members of the body of Christ. But, it was a real opportunity. And the people showed up and showed out, man. It was really, really awesome to see and awesome to hear. It really was. Let's keep it moving.
All of that, I just want to tell you the country has never been in better shape. We went through this short-term disaster with the Democrats because they thought it would be good politically. And it's an honor now to sign this incredible bill and get our country working again. Thank you.
Alrighty, so the continuing resolution passed the House 222 votes to 209 votes, and the president signed it, saying that federal operations would finally return to normal. He blasted Democrats for causing a pointless, painful, and completely avoidable shutdown. In 7 weeks, more than 20,000 flights were delayed or canceled, millions of people missed their paychecks, and small businesses were left waiting on contracts that never came. And according to him, Democrats inflicted this wound on the country purely for politics and purely for political theater. They didn't get anything out of it. And now that the government is running again, the real question is this: what was the point? After 43 days of needless suffering, nothing changed. Obamacare remains untouched, although I want to see if they vote. I got to stop right here for a second. If they vote to increase the subsidies, allow these subsidies to go on for another year, it has to be on the backs of a new healthcare plan. It has to be on the backs of a new healthcare plan. We can't keep doing what we're doing right now when it comes to healthcare. We are not interested in a single payer healthcare system. Honestly, I'd like to see us go back to the old system. Healthcare was a whole heck of a lot more affordable before the Affordable Care Act, which is anything and everything but affordable. They got to figure it out. So if they're going to extend the subsidies for one more year, it also has to be partnered with, they got to create some form of committee to come up with a better plan, because this Affordable Care Act is any and everything but affordable. I agree. They got to start from scratch. Create a committee and, hey, we're going to extend these subsidies for a year, but you guys got a year to come up with a better solution than what we have right now, because this is terrible. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see, it's open enrollment right now. I don't know if you guys, pay for your own insurance or you have to go out there to the market. It is crazy, the things that I've witnessed. I'm one of those kind of people. I have to pay for my own insurance for my family. Man, $1,000 premiums a month. I seen a plan, it was a $10,000 deductible. A $10,000 deductible. I couldn't believe it. So you're going to pay $22,000 out of pocket. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is insanity. There was another one that I saw. It was, what was it? I want to say it was like 800 and some change. And, it had a super high deductible. I'm like, this is insanity. It is. B, you're right. B, you are right. It is a racket. I feel like I'm being robbed and taken advantage of. Oh, Leslie Aaron, you're one of the lucky ones. Said her work provided insurance. Oh, yeah, I guess not one of the lucky ones. But work provided insurance has gone up with no additional benefits. Yeah, that's how it was. When I remember when this thing went into effect initially, dude, the year prior to our out of pocket, I was paying, it was like $100 or so out of pocket. The company took the majority of it. They raised it when we finally had to accept the Affordable Care Act at the company, because I worked at a small company. And man, my out of pocket went from like 100 and some change a pay period, so about $200, a little over $200 a month, to it was a little over $1,000. Yeah, no, it was right at $1,000, and that was my out of pocket. The company was picking up another chunk of change. My out of pocket was $1,000, and then we had like a $4,000 deductible. It was crazy. And my oldest son just so happened to play football and stuff. And this dude got hurt every year. We hit the deductible every year, 3 years straight. It was almost like I didn't have insurance. I'm paying out of pocket and I'm hitting this deductible. And this dude, he played football. He dislocated his pinky. He tore his MCL. He broke his hand one year. I mean, it was crazy. I was like, goodness gracious, dude. It was crazy. Yeah, I mean, the deductibles are insane. Seriously, they're insane. Yeah. Man. So I don't have an issue, if they want to extend these subsidies for a year, but it has to be on the backs of creating a better healthcare plan. This situation that we got going on right now is insane. It is crazy, unsustainable, to be honest with you. Unsustainable. We got Terry 20 Guys Child with the $5 super chat, says, good morning, everyone. Wise, I'm still waiting for you to mention Pastor Geno Jennings, Truth to God Church out of Philadelphia, grateful to God. Oh, I didn't know you was waiting on that. Shout out to the Energizer Bunny 007 with the $2 super chat, says we need a health savings plan for the country. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. I don't have an issue with Geno Jennings. I did hear some things, in reference to him, but I personally don't have an issue with Geno Jennings. And I've watched a multitude of his services. But getting back to this Obamacare situation and this shutdown. So the shutdown ended, Obamacare remains untouched, and the subsidies Democrats fought over are exactly the same at this point. And working Americans, the military, military families, air traffic controllers, federal workers, they all paid the price. They all paid the price. And this bill only funds the government until January 30th, which means that we could be right back here again in weeks if Democrats decide to pull another political stunt. 8 Senate Democrats and 5 House Democrats even broke ranks to stop the madness. And now even some Democrats are admitting the far left wing of their party has gone entirely too far. Senator John Fetterman recently said Democrats shouldn't embrace socialism or fringe ideas and acknowledged that those radical elements help push the party off the cliff and lose Congress and the White House. Yeah, you think?
I promise you, America's future and my party's future is not socialism or kinds of outlandish far left kinds of ideas. And it's been a year ago, after we lost the election, a lot of those parts and part of those ideas pushed our party over the cliff. And that's why we're in this situation right now. That's why we're firmly in the minority. And that's why we've lost control of the White House. So some people, if you think that's a solution, that's fine, but it's going to be a competition of ideas, and we know that's not going to prevail. What's going to prevail is common sense. What's going to prevail, choosing this country over, part of the extreme in our party. What's going to prevail is common sense.
Yeah. Democrats don't have common sense, though, right? They don't have common sense. Fetterman's right. Common sense used to be bipartisan, but what we know about Democrats, they lack in that department. They lack in the common sense department. They do. But that's what we stand for over here. Reason, fairness, and policies that actually help Americans instead of playing political games. I mean, let's be real here. Affordability is still a major vulnerability. And Democrats will absolutely try to weaponize it heading into the midterms, which brings us to the conversation we actually need to have. The one Scott Bessent has been pushing for a little bit, affordability and the administration's economic strategy. Strip away the viral clips and cable news drama, and his message is simple. We're trying to build an industrial base we outsourced away for decades while easing price pressure for households still feeling the sting of the past inflation. He's honest about the split screen. Some prices, gas, eggs are down, but the big monthly burden, like housing, insurance, healthcare insurance, your electricity bills, out here we call it as BGE bills, but whatever your electricity bills, those things are still pretty daggone high. And that's not spin. That's the reality of an economy where the flexible prices corrected fast, but the sticky ones are still stuck behind policy and supply constraints. And now Bessent is touting substantial actions coming in the days ahead to bring down coffee and certain fruits, part of the administration's push to get grocery prices under control. Let's take a listen.
It's tough to do a lot of specific things, but I can tell you, Brian, you're going to see some substantial announcements over the next couple of days in terms of things we don't grow here in the United States. Coffee being one of them, bananas, other fruits, things like that. So that will bring the prices down very quickly. And Brian, we inherited this affordability mess. It was the worst inflation 40, 50 years, one of the worst in the nation's history. And affordability has two components. So there's the price level, and then there's income level. And what happened under Biden was the cumulative inflation, stated inflation, CPI, was 20, 23%. But what happened to working Americans, their basket of goods and services, food, insurance, auto payments, was up in the 30s. So they felt a real gigantic differential there. And what we are going to do is, by bringing back high-paying manufacturing jobs, President Trump is going to do what he did in the first term, and that is for hourly workers and working Americans to have real wage increases. So, Brian, imagine two lines. There is the inflation line. We've got that under control. It's leveled out. That is going to start turning down. Then there's the income line, which under Biden, because so many of the jobs were government jobs, you can't get real wage growth from a government job. Real wages are going to increase. Right. And I would expect in the first quarter, second quarter of next year, those two lines are going to cross, and the American people are going to start feeling better. But look, this has been a tough period.
There's some good news on the horizon. Very good news on the horizon, but the details are still a little murky. They're still a little murky. But earlier this year, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick floated the idea of exempting foods we don't grow here from tariffs. But that didn't happen. And instead, the U.S. slapped heavy duties on coffee from Brazil and Colombia. And now the latest CPI show coffee prices rising faster year over year than anything else. So we'll see how this plays out. But that brings us to another affordability flashpoint, the H-1B debate. We talked about the H-1Bs, I don't know, maybe a month or two or so ago. We got into it. But I'm sure some of you guys, or a lot of you guys, aren't even familiar with H-1Bs, just because you don't, maybe you don't work in a STEM environment or something along those lines. But Laura Ingraham, she pressed the president on it and pressed him on the H-1B issue. And Bethnet jumped in to explain the White House's logic. Bring in a small targeted group of highly skilled workers from sectors that we hollowed out, precision manufacturing, shipbuilding, semiconductors, use them as trainers for 3 to 5 years, then hand those jobs back to newly upskilled American workers, which I don't know how many of you guys know this, but this is exactly what the organizations did to Americans. My uncle, who worked for a plant out in Tennessee a while back, his company ended up moving, I believe, somewhere in Central America. I can't remember if it was Mexico or another country in Central America. But when they moved, all the high-skilled people that were there in Tennessee working on a plant, they paid them, a nice little bonus and a nice chunk of change to travel out there into Central America and teach the people there how to do their jobs. Slap in the face, I know. But the company had moved there, so they were paying people to do this. And this essentially is what they're saying here. Hey, I know right now we got a vacuum. We don't have people here that really understand how to do these jobs. So we're going to bring some people over on an H-1B. H-1Bs are temporary, okay? They only last, I think the average the H-1B, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's good for 3 years. There's another extension on top of that. But you bring them over, pay these people well, let them teach Americans how to do the jobs that they've been doing for years. And then once their H-1B visa runs out, you send them back home. And now we have people that can actually do these skills. Yeah, makes complete sense to me.
20, 30 years, we have offshored precision manufacturing jobs. And the president's point here is, we can't snap our fingers and say, you're going to learn how to build ships overnight. We want to bring semiconductor industry back to the U.S. There are going to be big facilities in Arizona. So I think the president's vision here is to bring in overseas workers where these jobs went.
Who have skills.
Who have the skills, 3, 5, 7 years to train the U.S. workers, then they can go home. The U.S. workers fully take over.
So do you understand the concern that people have? Hey, an American can have that job. Why you give it to a guy from
But an
India or
American
China?
can have that job.
So
because,
it's specific skills.
Because we haven't built ships in the U.S. for years. We haven't built semiconductors. So this idea of overseas partners coming in, teaching American workers, then returning home, that's a home run.
Gotcha. Mr. Secretary,
yeah, I mean, it makes complete sense. It makes complete sense. Something else that I would like to tie into that idea. I think this idea is great. I think it's a great idea. Something else that I would like to tie into this is that any government contractor out there, if you're doing business with the government and you got to hire, let's say, over 50 people or more to fulfill the job, you have to hire and train 10% of your workforce. You are responsible to hire and train at least 10%. I'd like to see that number tick up, but 10 to 15% of your workforce. You got to hire it. If they're receiving money from the federal government for a contract, the companies who take on this contract, they should hire and train, I'd say at minimum 10%. I'd like to see that number 15 to 20% of their workforce. Make them sign contracts, whatever the case may be, that they come in unskilled. They got to stay with you for 2 years or so. Do it. But we got to tie the government contracts, because what happens is a lot of these companies, they have these government contracts and they just look for the best of the best. They have zero interest in actually training the next wave of folks. I know this because I worked in staffing and I've staffed a multitude of government contracts out there. And a lot of times you'll have a lot of these companies, they'll wait looking for perfection. And then eventually they may hire somebody that has half the skills and they say, okay, we'll train this person up. But if you'd have just had that mindset from the beginning, hey, we're going to train 10 or 15% of our workforce. So therefore, we don't have to worry about the shortage of skills, here in our nation, because we have government contracts. We're giving tons of companies hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars to do work for the federal government. There should be an incentive there for these companies to train Americans to do these jobs. That's just an idea that I've had for quite some time. It makes complete sense to me. What are you guys' thoughts? Do you guys think that would be a good idea to tie the government contracting in as well to training up some of these young folks to do some of these highly skilled positions that are in demand? But I love this idea from the president, and I love this idea from that administration that, hey, we're going to bring H-1Bs not to come in and replace, but to come in and teach. Come in, teach Americans, and then they leave. Simple as that. And yes, the administration, they did raise the H-1B application fee to discourage companies from using it as a cheap labor shortcut. In theory, this pushes the program toward genuine skill gaps. Now, is it realistic? I'm not 100% sure yet, but this is where I partly break with Bestnet. America already has a proven model for quick, high-skill training. It's called the military. And a lot of your military folks, they don't make a lot of money. So it takes the military right now, it takes civilians and turns them into airframe techs, avionics specialists, air traffic controllers, munitions maintainers, you name it. And they do it in months, not years. I know I got a multitude of people, in here that, we got a multitude of people in here that served in the military. You know what time it is. The training that we go through, it's condensed. And then once you get out into the fleet, it's on the job training, right? When I was an air traffic controller, one of the toughest schools that you could go through. I'm not going to say it's the toughest school, but one of the toughest schools that you could go through. We had a pretty high fail rate. And it was a fraction of the time that it would take if you went to become a air traffic controller in the civilian world. But then once you got to the fleet, you spent a lot of time on the job training, OJT. And in my opinion, the best way to learn is actually by doing it, not by a book. So the military has they have a way to go about doing this. So I think that we can build a civilian version of that pipeline if we stop worshiping these 4-year degrees. If the goal is real capacity building, then pair Bestnet's transitional idea with a mandatory domestic training mandate, 2 years max, employer-aligned programs, and federal dollars only for schools that place graduates at real firms like a Lockheed, Boeing, Intel, Northrop. Tie the tax incentives to hiring and certifying American trainees, not importing talent. And if the H-1B is used at all, it should be a short-term bridge, not a permanent replacement. The problem with college is right now, especially the 4-year degrees and more, it's too slow. It is too slow, and it's very cumbersome when it comes to adding in. Technology is moving way faster than your average college out there. Most of your colleges, especially on the tech side of things, they're 5 years. They're teaching what people were doing 5 years ago. There's already new frameworks. There's new ways to go about doing things. There's new tools. You know, they're already out and they're already existing. Companies are already using them. Most of your colleges are slow to adapt to the fast-paced environment of the workforce. Most companies need people that can do these skills quickly. And the 4-year colleges, by the time they get it added into their curriculum and they get a teacher or a professor that can actually teach it, the skill set's no longer needed anymore. You know, so I think they need to figure out a way to come up with training in the same mindset, in the same way that they do in the military. And I mean, you come out, you really know stuff. You really know your stuff when you can get through one of these military programs. So, you know, it makes complete sense to me to go in that direction. Now, Bestnet is also focused on family cash flow. You know, he's focused on that as well. You've heard the ideas, $2,000 tariff-funded rebate for lower-income households, eliminating taxes on tips and Trump accounts, you know, that $1,000 for $1,000 a year for newborns invested automatically in the U.S. market so regular families can benefit from the compounding. Whatever you think of the mechanics, you know, whatever you think of that, he's targeting the real pain point. And people judge policy by what's left in their bank account after taxes, shelter, and bills. And personally, if you're doing anything like a rebate, you know, I prefer the kid-focused forced savings approach over checks that disappear into groceries and utilities. That's just me. But any relief has to be paired with real spending discipline. Otherwise, we're just handing out dollars with one hand and inflating them the other way, you know, the other way with the other. So there's also the communication gap as well that Bestnet is trying to fix. Voters aren't stupid. They know inflation already happened. Telling them that the economy is great while rent, insurance, and medical costs keep rising is political malpractice, in my opinion. You can't keep telling people, you can't keep lying to people. You can't. The better message is this. We cooled headline inflation, gas prices are dropping, we're reshoring critical industries, and now we're grinding through the long-term fixes that take time to show up in your monthly budget. Be honest about the grind. We're all adults. We can take it. We don't need you to lie to us and tell us that, hey, things are already better when, nah, I just got my bill, my BGE bill. The thing was almost $400. You know, the voters can handle the truth. We can handle the truth. Matter of fact, we actually prefer for you to tell us the truth. And finally, there's the coalition management piece. The right is a big tent now, MAGA populists, conservatives, libertarians, moderates, independents, and they don't agree on everything. They don't agree on everything. A businessman-style president will pursue deals that advance core goals, even if the details annoy purists. And that's fine, as long as the trade-offs actually help American workers. If you allow limited H-1Bs, demand wage floors above local medians, strict training quotas, sunset dates, and replacement by certified U.S. hires with a date attached to it. If you want industrial revival, Enforce real domestic content rules. And if you want family relief, stop pretending deficits don't matter. High interest costs are stealth taxes draining everything else. Some change has to happen. Some change has to happen, and I'd like to see some fundamental change, especially when it comes to Americans obtaining the skill sets. Shouldn't have to spend, $200,000 and 4 years of your life to learn a skill set that you could probably learn, in 6 to 12 months. College has been, in my opinion, a net negative. And ever since we started subsidizing people to go to college, the price of college has gone up, and the actual information that the young people are learning, or people in general are learning, is subpar. And that's being nice. Shout out to Emmett this Angel coming through with the $20 super chat. Says, healing always hurts. If you don't treat the gangrene, you must amputate. Decades of painful infection require painful amputation and a hard recovery, but we must adjust and not only live, but thrive. Is that stay in the word? Stay strong in Christ. Got you. Goodness gracious. Sorry about that. Thank you, Amethyst Angel. Shout out to Billy W, gifting 10 ARP family memberships. Thank you, Billy W. Appreciate you supporting the channel. And if you received one of those memberships, y'all make sure y'all show Billy W some love in the chat. Thank you, Hunter, coming through with the $10 super chat. Says, true wise, we need to keep an eye on those dissenting Dems who reopen the government. Their party may silence them just like they did to that one lady and her family that worked under Tim Walz. Yeah. Don't put anything past those people, man. Nothing past them. Shout out to Amethyst Angel coming through with the $5 super chat. Fetterman had a come to your senses moment surviving that stroke. Next, he needs to come to Jesus. Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Papa Die coming through with the $5 super chat. Says, Wise, play Paul Harvey, If I Were the Devil, 1965. You'll make a whole show out of it. It's chilling how it's playing today. Yeah. I did a video on that Paul Harvey, on that like 2 years ago at this point. It may be worth doing an entire live on it. I probably could do that with the crew. I think that'd be pretty dope. Shout out to Immortal Legend coming through with the $5 super chat. Says, the problem with H-1B is a good amount of people who have received them go AWOL and stay in the country illegally. Yeah. If that H-1B, well, the thing too, is it's not just the H-1B. It's the people that come here on student visas as well. Those that come on those F1s. The F1 is a student visa, and there's a multitude of F1s that you can get. But I think that's just the risk that you have. When people come over here, on H-1s, when they come over on, these types of, student visas or temporary visas, I think that's the risk I think that's always going to be a risk. But if we actually uphold the law the way we're supposed to uphold the law and not allow a situation to where a dude can be here illegally and work his way up the ladder in our public education system, like the dude out of Iowa, if we actually uphold the law the way we're supposed to, even when those people do go AWOL, they will get caught. Eventually, you will do something to get caught. And at that point, we got to do what we're supposed to do in reference to deporting these people when they decide to do that. Or you could just up the punishment and make the punishments a lot more graver than what it currently is. Shout out to Spaces coming through with the $2 super chat. Says 737 pair of eyes on the stream. Motivational work. OG. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Shout out to Lady Illusions coming through with the $2 super chat. Stop pushing bogus classes. Streamline college. I am with you there. You got to think about it. If you actually, if college went more towards the direction of the way they train in the military, and they get rid of all the fluff classes that you don't necessarily need, that ain't worth anything, that really just keeps professors employed, and just taught people and said, hey, you're going to college to be this? Okay. You jump right into your major. I'll give you an English 101 and I'll give you a college algebra. All the rest of that stuff, hey, let's get into the major and let's start learning how to get out here and be productive. A lot of people don't make it to college not because they can't do whatever the major is. They don't make it because they can't get through those first 2 years of crack. Your first 2 years of classes are classes that more times than not don't have much to do with your major. More times than not. Shout out to Ms. Jilly coming through with the $3 super sticker. Thank you very much. I appreciate you supporting the channel this morning. Yeah. We could definitely train the workforce at a rapid rate if they, bypassed the actual college system right now. It's ridiculous. Again, I'll give you English 101. I'll give you college algebra. I'm actually good with the speech class that is mandatory because I think everybody should at least have an understanding of what public speaking looks like. Even if you don't plan to be a full-fledged public speaker, I think you should know because, I mean, if you're going to work in industries, a lot of times you're going to give you're going to give some presentation, even if it's to smaller groups of people. You'll give some type of presentation. So I think you should understand how to do that. Other than that, man, get into the major. That's just my opinion, though. I want to keep it moving. Appreciate you guys pulling up this morning. I won't hold on to you guys too much longer, but I wanted to get into this story here. Hit the like button for me if you haven't done so already. Please hit that like button for me. And thank you guys for supporting the channel financially this morning via super chats and super thanks. Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys. And finally, last but not least, man, I want to talk about the drama that is going on down in the sports world right now because it's pretty wild. And honestly, it says a lot about where we are culturally and politically. Michelle Beadle, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with this lady, but she is a former ESPN host, recently went off about Stephen A. Smith again, saying he's arrogant, overexposed, basically created his own monster at ESPN. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. This lady sounds like a hater. That's what it sounds like. She just sounds like a bitter hater to me. We're going to get into it. But her take is that the network let Stephen A. run wild, put his face on every screen, let him do whatever he wanted, and now he's bigger than the company itself. Sounds like a hater to me. Just saying. Sounds like a hater. She even said that she refused to share a set with him because she didn't respect him. And when she left ESPN, the same day they aired a promo announcing Stephen A. would appear on the show. To her, he is the problem. Stephen A's getting smoke from everybody. We discussed we got into this a little bit last night. For those that watched the show, I told you guys that I wanted to dive into it a little more today. So we're going to get into it. Hit the like button for me if you haven't done so already. Let's go.
Is making money off of here. ESPN pays him a gazillion dollars
to not work there full time,
to get a lot of stuff wrong and yell, right? And he gets caught playing solitaire during the NBA freaking finals.
The thing that he claims to be a fucking genius in.
And so
the dude sounds like more. Whoever her co-host is, he's even more of a hater. Goodness gracious.
Instead of he doubles down and he does this. If I'm ESPN, and I get it. You created this monster. He is bigger than you now. And that's exactly your fault and your fault only. You let him run rampant all over that company and put his face on for everybody who's like, oh, he works so hard. I'm going to let you in on a little behind the scenes. He wants to do that. Nobody's asking him.
He's desperate to do it.
He shows up. I told everyone I work with, I will never share a set with that person, ever, because I don't respect him, and life's too short. So that being said, I'm like, he made you look like fools for handing him a blank check in the first place because he doesn't even give a shit about the stuff that he's paid a gazillion dollars to talk about. And now he's turning around and turning that into a money-making opportunity. Yeah. And the money-making opportunity, turns out it looks like it's a fraudulent crap business to begin with. Honestly, I'm not a religious person, but I pray for the downfall. I really do.
It's going to be amazing.
It's
going to be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a hater. Jasmine, you're absolutely right. That's all I heard was jealousy. And whoever the co-host is, I don't know who her co-host is, but he sounds like a hater too. What guy talks like this? Seriously. What guy talks like this about another man on air? Who does this? It's really, man, I don't get it personally. I don't get it. Stephen A, on the other hand, though, he did fire back. He fired back saying, hold up, I don't even know this woman. He made it clear that, hey, they barely spoken in their careers. And according to him, this feud is one-sided because he has no relationship with Beetle at all. No relationship with her. But, you know.
My comments are strictly directed at this woman, who I will remind y'all I have not said a word about in over 11 years. I've never spoken about her. Do y'all know why? I don't know her. You would think there's some beef that's been going on and has been pervasive throughout the industry for years. It's all because of her. I have never said more than hello or goodbye to her in the initial stages, and we was at one event for ESPN in 2013 or wherever it was, where we might have spoken for a minute or two. I don't know this woman at all. So when you hear her talking about me, please understand, I don't know her.
Hey, I'm sure a lot of you guys were not familiar with this lady, Michelle Beadle. I'm sure a lot of you guys were not familiar. So I guess, you know, her hating on air on Stephen A. Smith, it's actually helped her to go viral because this story is actually going viral. Heck, we're talking about her today. Probably the last time, first time we've ever talked about Michelle Beadle on the show. It will be the last time we talk about Michelle Beadle on the show. Just saying.
I have no relationship with her. She says, I don't like her. How would you know? It has to be because of how you're acting, Michelle Beadle. It can't be because of me. Because I don't talk to you. I don't know you. I don't talk to you. I've never been around you. We've never had a conversation. We've never hung out with one another. Nothing. We have no relationship. I can sit up here right now, walk outside to the bathroom, pass somebody in a hallway, talk to them for 2 minutes, and that would be more extensive than any communication I have had with Michelle Beadle in all these years.
Yeah, she clout chasing for sure. Somebody said it in the chat. She clout chasing. Man, I mean, I don't know how you do it. I'm not really sure how you dislike someone personally if you've never had a conversation with them. I'm not really sure how that happens, other than, you know, from the outside looking in, you're just an extremely hateful and jealous individual. But it didn't end there. It didn't end there because after Beadle's comments, another former ESPN personality, Carrie Champion, jumped in. And this is where it got deeper. She brought up Stephen A.'s history of controversial remarks, including things that he said back in 2014 about the Ray Rice domestic violence case, accusing him of being dismissive towards women. Champion basically accused him of having a pattern of calling out Black women in ways that he wouldn't call out other people. And she even questioned whether he had the same smoke for people like Michelle Beadle that he has for women like Jasmine Crockett or Michelle Obama. And Stephen A. wasn't having it at all. He pushed back hard, reminding everyone that he actually helped Carrie Champion get the opportunities that she received at ESPN. That he was one of the reasons she had a platform in the first place. She's one of the reasons that people know who she is in the first place. Huh, interesting.
And I understand that. Jasmine Crockett has a law degree. She has a license to practice law in Texas and Arkansas and on a federal level. So I don't appreciate them being talked to like that. And so when somebody says to me, Stephen, rather than point to her and her verbiage and her language and how she talked about the president, what about how he talks? I have no problem with that. I can understand that. That wasn't the only one. Play cut 4 for me, please. Right now, Griff. Now, I voted for Kamala, even though I wouldn't vote for Trump. I wasn't excited about voting for Kamala either, particularly after I heard about some of the shenanigans that the Democratic Party was engaging in leading up to the election. Yeah, I said it. But I also have sound of when I was defending Kamala Harris when he attacked her IQ. I didn't appreciate that. Former Attorney General in the state of California, former senator representing the state of California, former Vice President of the United States of America, Democratic nominee for the United States of America. I didn't appreciate that. Kerry Champion brought up Michelle Obama. I didn't say anything about her podcast and the kind of content that she's had on that. I only clapped back when she talked about First Take resembling the Housewives of Atlanta or whatever it was. And I said, wait a minute, since you brought something up, I want to remind you that I didn't appreciate how black men were being criticized for even thinking about voting about Trump, that a vote against Kamala was a vote against her. And Barack Obama coming out and bringing up misogyny and alluding to that for any black man that wasn't willing to vote for Kamala Harris. I resented that because black men have been supporting black women forever.
Yeah, and he goes on to say that, how he's always, shown Kerry Champion some love and all this other kind of good stuff and never throw shade. And honestly, you can hear the frustration in his voice. And to be honest with you, it kind of sounded like he was a little hurt. It really did. The look on his face, he had a look of hurt. He's tired of being labeled a sexist or sellout every time he criticizes a black woman, especially when his track record shows that he's opened doors for women and people of color in the sports media. But here's where the real conversation begins, because Stephen A. Smith, he went on to say what he thinks is really going on. And I think what we all think is really going on. He believes that this isn't about gender. It's not about respect. It's not about any of that. He thinks it's political. I think it's political. And he said there's this unspoken rule that if you're a black man, you're not allowed to disagree publicly with a liberal black woman, especially those who are outspoken and politically active. He pointed out that how every time he disagrees with one, suddenly he hates black women or he's anti-black. And you know what? He's right, because that's exactly how the far left mob operates. They act like disagreement equals betrayal, and they'll weaponize identity politics to silence anyone who steps out of line. Let's take a listen to what he had to say here.
Compromising democracy? I can't do that. Well, let's get this. Let's put it where the goats can get it, because I got to get out of here. Is this really about Stephen A? Or is this really about something else? Ladies and gentlemen, do you understand that with the redistricting that has gone on in Texas, they're positioning it so Jasmine Crockett's address will no longer be in the district she represents? Now, that doesn't stop her from running in a district, campaigning for re-election. But the point is, that's really slick on the Republicans' parties, I would say. So considering the things that they're doing with redistricting, considering the fact that it's considered a red state, considering the fact that both of your senators are Republicans, and the likelihood of knocking them off is slim to none, because the support that she has as a representative in her district far exceeds and swells beyond the support she would have in a statewide election for a state Senate seat. Because you best believe that they would take sound bites from her instead of her record and use it against her in a statewide election, because they're masters at it. I was saying that, but y'all air what you want to air. When I show up on CNN or I show up on News Nation with Chris Cuomo and the stuff that I say in support of the Democratic Party, who, by the way, I have voted for all my life with the exception of Chris Christie for the Republican seat in Jersey because I couldn't stand Corzine because I thought he was a crook. The bottom line is I've been there doing all of this every week. I'm speaking up on behalf of the Democratic Party. When I get on Gavin Newsom, it's not because I want him to lose, it's because I want him to win. But I want him to have a winning strategy. So don't move with the 20% with the extreme progressive left. Move where the 80% is, which is the vast majority of Democrats. Don't let Mamdani's election in New York for the mayoral seat fool you. Most people in the country ain't voting for that. New York City might, not New York State. I can promise you that.
Yeah, here's the real problem with this entire thing. This entire situation is political theater, and everybody involved, they all know it. They all know it. Stephen A. mentioned how he got dragged for his comments about Jasmine Crockett, a progressive congresswoman from Texas. She said she was disappointed that a black man criticized her and accused him of having a pattern of coming for black women. Last time I checked, if you are in a political office, you are not above critique. And the last time I checked, if you sit in a seat and you sit in a seat that represent the American people, you are not above critique from anyone. It doesn't matter who you are. You should have the ability to critique. Now, he didn't say anything about those hair helmets that she rocks or her, snuffleupagus eyebrows. He talked about her decorum. He talked about her language. He talked about her lack of, lack of work ethic, her lack of showing up to vote. He talked about that. He actually talked about her performance on the job. That's like being an athlete and you're upset that people are critiquing your play. That's part of the job. You're upset, you're mad that someone's calling out how bad you are playing or how unorganized you look or, how out of shape you are. That's their job, but that's your job is to take it. That's part of the job. It comes with it. So why be upset with a Stephen A. Smith or anybody for that matter that's in the media that actually speaks on politicians? You're in the seat. You're in the role. You're going to be critiqued. There are going to be some people that love you. There are going to be some people that don't care for you. There are going to be some people that like you, but don't actually care about how you're representing yourself and how you're representing that particular demographic of people. You're not above critique. Jasmine Crockett did get out there and dismiss his apology as nothing more than a reaction to a backlash. And I don't have a problem with her dismissing the apology because that's exactly what it was. And we talked about it on the show, 2 weeks ago, that the worst thing that he could have done was get out there and apologize. He should have got out there and said, hey, I said what I said and I'm standing on it. I don't have anything against Jasmine Crockett personally or any other politician out there personally. I'm only talking about your work and your track record and the way you conduct yourself out here, on these interviews. I'm only talking about your performance. I'm not actually coming at you personally. And that's a lot of my problem with a lot of these folks that get into these positions. You can't ask to become a CEO. You can't ask to be in the top spot and then say, don't critique me like everybody else would be critiqued when you're in that spot because you feel like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm a black woman. You're not allowed to say anything about me. Don't ask for the spot if you don't want what comes with the spot. That's like starting your own podcast or your own YouTube channel or getting out here, and talking on a day-to-day basis, but you butthurt when somebody has something negative to say or somebody disagrees with something you said. Goes with the territory. Some people are going to like it, some aren't. Goes with the territory. You have a decision to make to say, hey, I want to listen to it or I don't want to listen to it. But to say that people can't say it is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I'm with you. Stephen A., he needs a backbone. And I understand what he's trying to do. I get it. I understand what he's trying to do. He's trying to be the voice in the middle that can talk about and critique the left and talk and critique the right. He's trying to do that. That's his goal. But when you do that, you got to understand that you're going to upset a lot of people. You're going to upset people on the left. You're going to upset people on the right. When you do that, you got to stand on it. You got to stand on it. If you're critiquing, if you're throwing out critiques to both sides, you got to stand on it. And to be honest with you, if you're critiquing to either side, whatever it is, whatever your critique is, you got to stand on it. That is the problem with Stephen A. It's not what he's saying. It's the fact that this dude keeps apologizing. You either say what you mean and mean what you say, or shut up. One of the two. That's why a lot of people are like, man, Stephen A., super fence writer. Because every time he says something right, and I think Emmett Angel, she said it, she's like, hey, a dead clock's right twice a day, and which is true. But when he says something right or accurate, and then you turn right back around and apologize and bow down to these people, you lose credibility. Just stand on it. And understand what that means. Understand that, yeah, you're probably not going to get invited to the cookout. You're not going to get invited to, some of these, some of these events that these people put on. Understand that and be okay with it. And to be honest with you, why does a dude that makes, just from the one platform, he makes $20 million a year, not including what he's making on his own platform and some of the other things that he has going on, why are you even concerned? You know what I'm saying? With trying to be a part of a clique or a crew. Like, why is that even a concern? To be honest with you, when you got that type of motion, you should be building your own crew. That's just me. But the moment that Jasmine Crockett told him or said that, hey, that apology isn't real, the moment that happened, the Democrat echo chamber, hey, they snapped into formation. Roland Martin and the usual party police scolded Stephen A. Smith publicly, pulling him back in line like he wandered off the Democrat plantation. And Stephen A., he folded. He folded. And again, another apology. And that's where he's losing the credibility. If he would actually just stand on, hey, I'm going to be the guy that's going to talk about both sides. You're going to get an honest opinion from me about how I feel about everything. If he actually did that and understood that, hey, whatever the smoke comes with that, it is what it is. But I'm not stopping. I think his platform would grow. He would, but he just can't. He can't do it. He can't do it. And here's the hypocrisy. If he would have said the same thing about a Candace Owens, a Winsome Sears, a Sage Steele, or anybody else, any other woman from the right, any woman from the right that was black. If you are a black and a conservative, you fair game for these people. You can say whatever you want to say. Not a single one of these people would have said a word, nothing. The same activists that are out here crying misogyny because he is actually critiquing a sitting member of the House of Representatives, they would have been leading the applause had he gone at Winsome Sears in the same manner. Because the reality of it is, it's never been about protecting women. No different than the NAACP. It's never been about actually doing something for black folks or quote unquote people of color. It's never been about that. It's about protecting Democrats. It's about protecting Democrat women. I heard something the other day, the NAALCP. The NAALCP. Yeah, the LCP stands for liberal colored people. That's what the NAACP is about. The NAALCP. This isn't about black or white or Hispanic or black or brown folks. This ain't about that. This isn't about protecting, black women. No, this is about protecting Democrats. Simple as that. It's about protecting Democrats. If you criticize a liberal black woman, suddenly it's hate speech. That's what this is about. And the wildest part is Stephen A., he is a Democrat. Although he comes out and says, oh, I'm an independent. Nah, you're a Democrat. You just came out and said you've been voting Democrat all your life, except for one time. Sounds like a Democrat to me. Dude said he voted for Obama twice, voted for Biden, voted for Hillary, voted for Kamala. But he says he's an independent. He's not a radical progressive. And I mean, I like to judge a tree by the fruit. I like to judge a tree by the fruit. The fruit says this dude's a Democrat. Says he's a radical progressive because that's how he votes. That's what he supports. But these folks hate the idea of a prominent black man with a massive platform who's got a large contract. They hate the fact that this dude may not obey every talking point. That he's willing to step off the plantation. They're upset about it. They're actually terrified that he could inspire other black voters to think for themselves. That's the real deal. That is the real deal. They don't want black men and women, for that matter, to hear an alternative and alternative ideas or an alternative agenda. And they don't want them to do that research, and they don't want them to start thinking for themselves, start thinking critically and making a decision. They want everybody to just be in lockstep. Forsake whatever it is that you believe in. Forsake all of that. Get in line with the Democratic agenda. I know you're a Christian, and I know the Bible is against the alphabet community, and they're against pregnancy terminations, and they're against all of these things, but I don't care. I need you guys to get in line with this Democratic agenda. You can get back to the Bible after you come out the voter booth voting for Democrats. You can get back to that after the fact. They don't want black voters thinking for themselves. They're not interested in that. They want to control. And anytime any of those folks on that side of things, anytime they quote unquote cross the line, get out of line, whatever the case may be, hey, they do everything that they can to shame this man and shame others into silence. And every time, in reference to Stephen A., every time they do it, he apologizes. He bends the knee to these people. Every time he tries to earn their approval, he hands them more power. I don't think he understands it. There's actually power in saying, you know what? I don't care what y'all talking about. You want to cancel me? Do whatever you feel like you need to do. There's way more power in just saying, I don't care. I'm going to do me. I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about. I don't care. There's way more power in that. There's way more power in that. And the last I checked, his contract, that he just signed, that thing's guaranteed. As long as he don't do anything stupid. Now, when you go in that mindset, that means that you gotta protect yourself. You gotta be mindful. You gotta make sure that you place yourself around people that you trust. And make sure that they're not compromised. Yeah. And the crazy thing is that Stephen A. Smith, he has a bigger platform than any of these fools that are attacking him. Who the heck is Michelle Beadle? And I mean, to be honest with you, I wouldn't have spent 5 minutes talking about her. Him responding to her actually gave her the clout that she was probably looking for. I'm sure some of you guys, in reference to Carrie Champion, if you didn't watch First Take back in the day, you probably don't know who she is. Although she has been on Abby Phillips' show for a while. But he gave her clout by talking about that. I wouldn't have talked about any of these people. I wouldn't have addressed any of that. And the only thing I would have addressed is just said, hey, I'm going to do me. I'm going to talk about whatever it is that I want to talk about. And y'all can kick rocks if you don't like it. Don't watch the show. Don't turn in. Keep it moving. But for whatever reason, this dude can't do it. He keeps bending the knee. He keeps groveling, keeps trying to make peace with a mob that has already decided that he is the enemy. These people don't want dialogue. Nah, they don't want dialogue. They want obedience. They're not interested in a conversation. They want obedience. You got to go get in lockstep with these people, no matter what. And they've showcased themselves to do this time and time again. They will go after any black man who steps off the script harder than anyone else. They're not interested in you leading. They're not interested in you listening to anything that you have to say. And that's why you got fools like Roland Martin, with his Vote Like a Black Woman t-shirt on. Dion, you're right. Yeah, capitulation and obedience. That's it. Anything other than that, they're not interested. They're not interested. To them, your voting record doesn't matter. To them, your voting record doesn't matter to them. Loyalty counts. You have to be 100% aligned with these people. And Stephen A. Smith, he's got to wake up and realize, like, hey, I'm good. I'm good. I got my bread. I'm straight. I'm going to do my job over at ESPN, and I'm going to do what I'll do right over here on my own platform, and I'm going to do me. And if y'all don't like it, turn me off. Turn out, tune out, whatever the case may be. Keep it moving. I'm not concerned. And I wouldn't be responding to peons. I just wouldn't. So here's the truth. Stephen A. Smith needs to stop apologizing. He needs to stop trying to appease people who profit off of outrage. You can't win respect from people who only tolerate you when they feel like you're useful. Say what you mean and keep it moving. And if they're mad, let them be mad. And if they don't invite you to the cookout, who cares? Build your own daggone table. Have your own cookout. Invite the people that you want to show up at your cookout. Simple as that. I mean, this whole feud from Michelle Beadle's bitterness to, the Black Feminist Outrage Brigade, to the Boule mob coming after him, it just proves exactly what Stephen A. said. This was never about sexism. It was never about protecting black women. It was solely about protecting the Democratic Party's monopoly on black voices. Simple as that. And the second someone breaks ranks, they unleashed a mob on them. And if you keep folding to these people, they'll keep doing it. If you keep folding to these people, they will keep coming. Hopefully, Stephen A. finally sees it. Hopefully. The backlash isn't about disrespect. It's about ideology. It's about control. And until he stands firm and stops apologizing to these people, they will never let up. He's letting them know that they have control over what he can and can't say. Please, tell these people to kick rocks, man. Shout out to my guy Jeff with the $11 super chat. Says, comes through. Is that a fragile ego needs to be petted? Great show, Dub. Appreciate you, brother. Man, please. Strong men we can ride dolo. We can ride dolo. I have friends, but I don't necessarily need friends. I can hang out by myself, I'm good with that. That doesn't bother me at all. Uh-oh. We got somebody in the chat with the language. All right. We're going to open it up for a little bit. We'll do 30 minutes. I'm sure you guys see the link there. Links pinned to the top. Anybody that would like to call in, like to say what's up. Let's try to keep things on topic. And, I'm not going to allow you to filibuster. So you get to talking on a daggone rant and going off on a tangent. I'm going to cut you off. I'm just letting you know up front. Mike C said, I love the story of the lone guy sitting at the bar alone. Yeah, I'm that dude. I can go a lot of places alone. I'll go to the movies by myself. I'll go to lunch, dinner. I don't care. By myself. I don't care. And enjoy my own company. Not that I'm some type of loner and I don't have any friends, because I do. But at the same time, hey, I'm a grown man. I can handle myself. I know some folks always feel like they need to be in people's faces. I'm not one of those people. I am not one of those people that feel like I need to be in people's faces. And I'm not one of those people that feel like I got to fake it just to hang out with somebody. I'm not doing that either. You either like it or you don't. Simple as that. Shout out to Tyler Martin coming through with the $5 super chat. Says, I'm concerned about the midterms. The media is going to support whatever negative narrative the left comes up with. No, you're absolutely right. And I do think that you should be concerned with the midterms. But at the same time, those of us on this side of things, I think we need to be conscious of what's going on, of what's at stake for next year. And we got to make sure that we get people to show up and show out just like they did in the 2024 election. We need to get people to show up and show out. And people need to understand that the midterms, that these local elections are just as important as any national election out there. People need to have a full understanding as to what's at stake. We are for certainly on this show, on this channel, we will be discussing what's going on with the midterms. Maybe we'll do a midterm update, maybe once a week or so, once we get into the new year, Lord willing. We'll get into that. Absolutely, Papa Dodd. Got to get out there, man. Got to get out there. All right, link is posted at the top. Link is posted at the top for anybody that would like to pull up today. Feel free to do so. Thank you to everybody that supported the channel financially this morning. Thank you guys very much. We're at 16 total, which is awesome. That is awesome. Few new members. Shout out to Billy W. gifting an ARP family membership. That's pretty awesome. Mama said, I love my, wrong person. Said, I love my alone time, gives me time to push out the noise. Yeah. Oh, I'm a big fan of that. I've been like this for a long time. I'm one of those, back in the day, my wife just was like, you don't go out, you don't have any friends. I was like, man, I don't necessarily need friends right now. I got my wife, my children. And, my life was wrapped around what they had going on. So I ain't got time to, be hanging out with folks. I don't got time for that. Not right now, And then eventually all the people that I do hang out with today, our kids play ball together. I either coached their kids. Yeah. So I've met a lot of the folks that I have in my life right now, I met through, my kids playing sports and things of that nature, and I've met them through that. What's up, Yolanda? How you doing today?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm blessed. I'm always blessed, though. So I'm doing well. What do you have for us?
Well, I had to apologize for missing last night. I was a bit tired, so
no worries. No worries. No
worries. But just one thing about Stephen A. And also, I'm off camera because, you don't want to see me today.
It's all good. It's all good.
But the whole Stephen A. thing, I'm in full agreement with you on, you got to stand up. You got to be a man. You can't growl and yell and banter like he do and then be like, I'm sorry. That was the most, I'm like, he dropped the ball. He dropped the ball in the play. I'm like, he was sounding like he was coming to some type of understanding, like maybe in his own life. You know what I mean? Like, I've been voting Democrat all my life, and it's like, okay, and now I'm starting to see that they saying this over here like this, and it's like, okay, Stephen A., keep going. And as soon as somebody was about to hit that pocket, because that's what it is. Remember what I said, the first time we talked. It's all about the money. It's not. It's about where the money is coming from, and if it's going to affect your money. That's like, okay. Probably I'm gonna give a little titch, and then we a little tangent, and then I can get off about the whole government shutdown and why all those other Democrats folded. It's the holidays. Like, they want to travel.
Yeah.
So they're like, let me, let's go, let's get this. I got to get from A to B, and if my plane is delayed, I mean, and think about it's all about the money. It's about when you hit somebody's bottom line, they'll start shaking a little bit. But that's all I wanted to say. Like Stephen A, he folded like a cheap suit chair, whatever you want to call him. But yeah, he's done for.
You think he's done? I don't think he's done. I don't think he's done, but I would like to see him say, you know what? I don't care anymore. I'm going to run my show. I'm going to talk about the things that I want to talk about. And I'm going to go at both sides the way I'm going at both sides. I think there's a lane for it. He's just got to understand that, hey, when you do this, understand that you're going to catch strays and enemies from both sides and be okay with it. That's his issue.
I told you know what, I would agree that he's not done for. But if he's gonna do that, he's gonna need to do that like independently. Like once he out of contract or whatever, that's the only way that he's gonna be able to do that. Like I was riding with him whenever he was saying what he was saying, because he wasn't really bashing Jasmine Crockett. He wasn't bashing her. He didn't say anything about her that was not facts or true. She's not doing her job, and she knew that she wasn't doing her job. That's why it hit a nerve like it did. And so once he was starting, when you hit the truth button, that's unfortunate that Charlie Kirk found out in that way that he's a truth teller, and that's the only whenever that's how they want to silence you. That's how they want to silence a person. When you start speaking the truth, when you start standing up for what is right, what's truly right, like really in God's eyes, you know what I mean? Like the truth is the truth. If Jesus says I'm the way, the truth, and the life, then guess what? When you start speaking the truth, they're going to treat you like Jesus, because they hated Jesus before they hate anybody. So once you start hitting that truth button, yeah, and it started affecting, he probably got that phone call. Everybody talked about the phone call. He probably got that phone call and was like, yeah, you need to tone it down a little bit. I'm sorry. And he turned into the I don't know if this might be an Ohio term, but we used to be like, but it do.
That's definitely an Ohio term. I had never heard that before.
No, well, you know what? It's so funny because we come from like the same generation, and we had our little sayings from back then. But he didn't drop the ball completely, but he's playing the game how it go, I guess.
I do have a question before you get out of here.
Sure.
And I'd like you to answer this question.
Okay.
What did women expect would happen when they asked to be in positions of power, when they asked to be in these leadership roles? Did they expect that the role would come without the same type of scrutiny that men, receive in those roles? Did they expect to be treated differently than anybody else?
I think what happened was, I will say this. There are some women who are drunk with power, and they'll do anything to get it. And with some of them, it don't matter. It doesn't matter like what needs to happen after that, because they're drunk with power. The expectation, like, okay, let's take Kamala Harris, for example. She got thrown in all of it. Like she was big, she was real big back in 2020, because she was ready to run and she had what she wanted to say. Even when she was in the debate with everybody and she called Joe Biden what she called him, she called him a racist. And she was willing to stand on that. Look at her 5 years ago and then look at her now. The scrutiny that she came under from being vice president is wearing all on her face and her hair and her speech. You know what I mean? So, I think the expectation be real high, but you got to be drunk with power. Let's take Hillary Clinton, for example, and Nancy Pelosi. When you look at these different types of women and how they get propped up, first of all, they're married to weak men. because no real woman, no woman who knows her worth, knows who she is, will understand what manly leadership is. And when I say that, I'm not saying that to down women, that like a woman can't be a CEO. I'm not saying that a woman can't run a company. Like, she has to be solid in who she is, and not want to be the pants wearer and the breadwinner. Hillary Clinton, back to her, she got embarrassed by who is perceived to be somebody that was a manly man when Bill Clinton first ran. But when Hillary, once that happened, she took on some type of mantle, like, oh, okay, you embarrassed me, so now I'm about to be drunk with power. I'm a woman with power. I can do it. Bill turned into a puddle of whatever, and so she stepped up. Same thing with Kamala Harris. Like I said, she was willing to wear those pants, but once she became in that position, that's whenever the ball game changed. She couldn't handle it. There's a lot of women that are, if you don't know who you are, especially in Christ, if you don't understand what your role is as a woman in your home, how you're supposed to run your home, how you're supposed to manage everything, because a Proverbs 31 woman, she has big shoes to fill, but there are shoes that are specially made for her. Like, every woman needs to, and really, I don't want to speak in those generalities, but women need to understand. If you understand what your place is in Christ, in God, in home, in public, if you understand who you are, then you wouldn't have a problem with being in leadership, and you wouldn't have a problem with another your male part, or even just a man period being in charge. I will say this, and this is my personal opinion. I don't want no woman president. I just don't. Please don't. Please don't run no more. Nobody. No AOC. No Jasmine Crockett. Please, please. Because they've clearly shown that they are women that are drunk with power. It's the power Kool-Aid. It's the Powerade. Whatever that is. But I hope I answered your question.
Somewhat, but I'll take it. We'll get Amethyst Angel in here. Appreciate you pulling up this morning, Yolanda. Enjoy the weekend. Or
She might
actually,
have
I guess we'll see you tomorrow.
Yep. See you tomorrow.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
All right. Let me pull up the system with this Angel. How you doing today?
Good morning, Saints, friends, and chat. How are you?
I'm blessed, as always.
There is a face that goes with the moniker over there. I wanted to address the issue of learning, labor, education. I was observing the chat, and I had put in, YouTube University. At less than $20 a month, I can learn anything that I want and choose my teachers.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of people commented, yeah, I changed my headlights. Yeah, I changed the lock on my door. Learning happens during doing. I agree with you 100%. And I also want to remind people, it's like Mike Rowe has been raised from the dead. He's been preaching labor, the trades for decades. Dirty jobs, the most dangerous jobs.
Mm-hmm.
He's gotten down literally in the sewers, literally on the fishing boats. And there is no such better sleep than having a good day's labor.
Yeah, I would agree there.
You don't even have brain space to contemplate problems because you worked through them.
Mm-hmm.
Be it physically, mentally, emotionally. And when it comes to learning, and I was only half joking about YouTube. At 62 years old, I forgot all my grammar. When do you use a semicolon? I spell European spelling because I work for a Swedish furniture company where the puzzles are all like Tetris. The furniture's like Tetris. That's where I work. And, you have to follow the picture directions. What is up, down, left, right? They don't use north, south, east, west. I write in 24-hour time. Even my clock on my watch are 24-hour time because there do be a difference when you're working overseas. I say all that to say that I miss doing math by hand. I do it by hand when I pay my bills. I still do it. Why? Because if you don't use it, you lose it.
You lose it. Absolutely.
I was thinking, yeah, they need to teach kids how to balance a checkbook. Well, that worked when I was in high school. When I graduated in 1981, who uses checkbooks anymore? It's still nice to know. But
you'll have somebody upset with you if you
no,
pull out a checkbook.
Wait a minute. But understand, I am the baby of the baby boomers, so I'm really a senior Xer in my mindset. And I really try to become literate in today's lingo, bilingual, trilingual, YouTube lingual. So I'm very young at heart. So I acknowledge, yes, we don't write checks anymore, but what is the principle? What is the finance principle of balancing your money? Be it a checking, savings, Bitcoin, whatever it is. Learn it, use it. My father always said, if don't forget what you learned in 6th grade, because you may need to apply it in 12th grade.
Absolutely.
When every child asks, when I'm going to use this again? You never know when you're going to use it. So learn it.
Or down the line, just as an adult, you may have a problem that comes up and you're like, I know I learned how to do this and I
do
forgot.
This. Right. Or sometimes you won't get the right answer unless you ask the right question. So that goes to your thing about communications, word usage. I'm huge on etymology. I'm huge on using words. I think my gift is the gift of encouragement. So my encouragement to everybody today is something I learned in AA. I'm coming up on my 22nd sober anniversary. And that's by a day at a time, grace of God and a fellowship of the AA. To all my friends of Bill out there. If you stick to the basics, you have nothing to go back to. If you keep the main thing, everything else sprouts from that root. Learn your math. Learn to read. Learn your grammar. Learn to write. And I'll close with this. I'm going to put this out here in the public sphere. I love handwriting. I hope that my YouTube name becomes my brand in my post W2 days. Oh, by the way, I can still say I have a career. I don't know anybody my kids' age or younger. I've been at my job 26 and a half years.
Oh, wow.
So that's a career in today's terms. So when my daughter was at American Airlines for 7 years, that was a career because she lasted 7 years. If you think about it.
Well, I think nowadays the average person lasts at a job, I think it's 3 to 4 years now.
3 to 4 years.
Max is 5. But typically people are rolling out about every 3 years or so.
Yes. So, but I'm not judging because it's 2025. I can't live like it was 1980 or 19.
Well, the companies also aren't treating people the same way as they treated people, 30 years ago.
Well, the company that I work for is Swedish, and some of their socialists, I have great benefits. Tuition, health, dental benefits, long-term, short-term, FMLA, of course, no questions asked. It's fabulous. So I got my associate's degree thanks to my job.
Oh, cool.
And we're a first name company. So everybody's equal. So I will freely talk to the store manager when something's not right. And no shame. But I want to teach penmanship. I do calligraphy. I don't want to get in the bridezilla business, but I want to get into, producing something beautiful, your favorite verse, your favorite stoic quote, your famous comedic line in beautiful handwriting. People can't read my handwriting, and those who can think I went to Catholic school. I didn't have Catholic school. I had my mother. So my handwriting had to be darn near perfect. For as digital as we're getting, you have the Declaration of Independence under glass here in my city, in Philly.
And young people can't read it.
And people can't read it.
That's sad, ain't it?
Regular Palmer script, they can't read. So my goal, my prayer is that The more analog I get, the more significant it becomes in the next 2.5 years. Should I last that long, should the Lord tarry. But definitely work. Find something that works for you. And if the Lord is placing that in your heart, he will make a way. He opens doors for everybody and makes your
Yes, he does.
gifts, present before all. I want to encourage everybody in the chat, make it a great day. Yes, my real name is Diane, but you can call me Amethyst Angel because my birthstone is amethyst, and hopefully I'm going to make it up there. God bless you, Wise, and thank you all. Hey to all the mods and members in chat. Love you all. Love your podcast. Stay strong, Wise.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you.
God bless. All right, shout out to Amethyst Angel coming through real quick. Couple super chats I want to read real fast, and then we'll all right, here we go. Mike C coming through with the $5 super chat says Stephen A isn't ready to drink from the cup of truth and everything that comes. Matthew chapter 20. Is that Matthew 20? Is that chapter 20, verse 22? Shout out to Jaws Music with the $2 super sticker. Thank you very much. Shout out to Mythology Noir with the $10 super chat. Says, let's call it out. Unfortunately, Black women in the Dem Party are playing the same protected game as the Zionist movement. They use fake or earned victimhood to attack, censor, and control others. Sheesh. Sheesh. Mythology Noir coming through with the bars. Shout out to Genevieve coming through with the $2 super chat. Says, you get what you get and you don't get upset. All right. Thank you. Let me pull up Rolando real fast. Shout out to Rolando. What's up with you, brother?
What's up, Brother Wise?
Hey, man. I'm blessed, man. How are you?
All right. All right. I hope you got some sleep last night.
A little bit. I'm working on a little bit. I'm on fumes, but we're going to make it do what it do. I got through this part, so we're good. We good.
All right, man. I thought it was a great show last night.
Yeah, my wife said the same thing. I haven't gone back and watched it. A lot of times, man, it's kind of a blur, when you're in it, and you really don't know if it's good or not good until you go back and watch it. But my wife does watch the show, and she said it was pretty good. She enjoyed it and said she had some laughs and things of that nature, which was solid. I do appreciate the way the show flowed yesterday. We're able to get into 4 segments. I think the show flowed pretty well yesterday. But we're building the plane as we fly it, and hopefully that, from week to week, man, we'll continue to improve. So,
yeah, I think personally we made a massive improvement from one week to the next, especially with the flow of the show, and kind of how everybody got to, say their piece, and and I think we kept a more consistent kind of audience throughout the show as well, because I was watching kind of people flowing in and out of the chat and things like that. So I think overall from one week to another was a massive improvement, but we still have ways to go because we I kind of wandered off there at the back end of the show there for a little bit, but we got
to work on that. Outside of that, other than that, that's the only moment that I can think of where I was like, okay, we got to make sure that we're a little more tight. But other than that, I thought the show was fine. I thought you did fine. I just, like I said the other day, I want to make sure that, we're on topic, on theme the way we need to. But I thought it flowed pretty well. Being able to get in and out of the segments, I thought that went well. And, I thought you guys did a pretty good job, with your commentary. But I feel like, we always should be striving to get better. My goal is always to try to get 1% better on a day-to-day basis. Every time I jump out there, I'm trying to get 1% better. So that's my goal, but
yeah, I definitely agree. So let me, I wanted to talk about this Epstein thing. Listen, with the Epstein thing, it's kind of funny how the Democrats are playing this, because the point that you made was very important for people in the chat to understand, is that if they had anything on Trump, it would have came out years ago. It would have been the October surprise in this last election. So they're grabbing at straws here. They really have nothing. So what they're doing with the Epstein thing is basically, their party is so out there They're just trying to keep them engaged and enraged.
Yep, that's it right there. Engaged and enraged, because that's how they move their base right there.
Exactly. So that's all they're trying to do. They're dangling this Epstein thing like a carrot. You know what a dirt farmer would do with a carrot to get the mule to pull the plow. You know, it's just a way to just keep them going. So I never pay too much attention to the Epstein thing at all. Now, I'm not saying that I don't feel bad for the victims and anything
Yeah,
like
no,
that.
I think we can all
I'm
feel
just saying,
bad for the victims, but I think what we all know is that if they really had something on the president, they wouldn't have waited until a year after the election to drop it if they actually had something. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now.
exactly.
Come on
Anybody
now. We're not stupid.
anybody watching this knows this. You know, if they had anything, it would have been out by now. So I don't pay it any never mind, like we say here in the South. Don't pay any never mind.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Or
I don't.
it don't make me no never mind. You know, that's country talk right there.
Yeah. I don't pay no attention. I don't pay no attention to none of that, man. So, but the other thing I wanted to talk about is the healthcare. Okay. Now, this healthcare thing is going to be very interesting because Democrats think that's their stick to beat Republicans over the head with. Healthcare. Okay, that's fine. But just remember this: Obamacare, okay, came from Democrats. Everybody knows that. Okay. So all these problems we have with healthcare now is tied to Democrats. So anybody with a half a brain knows this. Now, this is where it gets important. You see what Trump's doing with the tariffs?
Yeah.
This man has literally brought in $20 trillion worth of investments. Now, this is not something you're going to see overnight. You're probably going to start seeing the effects of this when he starts getting close to leaving office or after office.
Well, I think we'll start to see some of the effects going into next year. I think by the time we get into the end of quarter two, the end of quarter one, going into quarter two, I think we're going to start to see, some of the effects. Now, I do agree with you. We won't feel the full, manifestation, of these investments, probably, but I think we're going to see it early, and then it's just slowly but surely, going to showcase itself, in a positive way over the next 2 or 3 years or so.
So, yeah, so I definitely believe in that. But this is where Democrats are going to make their fatal mistake. You're dealing with a very smart businessman in the White House. And if this man, with that administration, make healthcare affordable again, and he's literally taking the same stick you used to try to beat him with, and he's going to beat you over the head with. And that would be going into the 2028 election, which will only help Republicans in the end.
Absolutely.
So if he comes up with a solution to this health care, anything is better than what we have now.
You ain't lying.
So if he could get those
we don't want a
premiums
single
down,
payer. We don't want single payer. So I don't want to say anything is better, but there's got to be a way. You can't create something worse than what we already have, other than going single payer, and we don't want that. But I do agree with you. They got to figure out this ACA. And again, like I said earlier, I don't have a problem with them extending the subsidies for one more year, but they have to tie a caveat to that in the fact that there has to be some crew. It can be bipartisan. I don't have an issue with it, but they got to figure out this Affordable Care Act thing. It's got to go away, and we need a better healthcare system in our country. What we got going on right now is ridiculous. It's trash. It's too daggone expensive. And to be honest with you, the way it's set up right now, it's set up for a large majority of people's not to be able to afford healthcare in our nation, the way it's set up right now. And it's just unsustainable.
well, what I'm trying to say is this is, to me, the best opportunity we have with this particular president, which is a businessman, a successful businessman, okay, to solve this healthcare. Because everybody else who's trying to tackle this healthcare has been a politician. Okay, we need a free market thinker to sort out this healthcare mess. And I think this is our best chance to get it sorted. Because to me, whoever comes after him is all going to be politicians for a very long time. This is our best chance right here. Because what he did with the tariffs, to me, was amazing. I like to see what he can do with healthcare. Because healthcare needs some serious reform, and I think we just need just freer market. Freer markets, open market tends to drive down prices. Anybody who knows economy knows this. The more people you have offering a service, the more they compete, the more the prices come down.
Yeah, you drive the prices down. Absolutely, you're right about that.
And I'm not an educated man. I didn't go to college. I barely got a high school education, but this is simple economics.
But you have common sense, though, right? You have common sense.
Yeah, but that's because, when God was handing out common sense, I wasn't out to lunch. You know what I mean? I went ahead and got me some. I was like, Lord, load me up with some common sense, because even the most intelligent people in the world sometimes skip over just the most basic common sense things, because they're overthinking things. We just need a freer market. Right now, we have a limited amount of insurance companies that's offering insurance. You have hospitals buying out other hospitals. For example, here, when I first got to Florida, it was Florida Hospital. Okay, that was the hospital. No matter where in Florida you went, it was Florida Hospital and Orlando Health. Okay, now Florida Hospital has bought out a bunch of different locations, renamed themselves. Now they're Advent Health, and Orlando Health has done the same thing. But we need more carriers. We need more independence in the healthcare field. Monopolies are not good for this country.
No, monopolies aren't good for anybody.
Because they corner the market and then they run up the price. It's classic business. I see smaller companies do that all the time. For example, you'll get one landscaping company, starts off small, he acquires another. Before you know it, he's the one offering all the service in that tri-state kind of area.
Yep.
Before you know it, they can
pretty much charge whatever they want to charge.
Exactly. People monopolize things all the time. And if people want to see an example of this, just go back and watch the documentary with Rockefeller and Standard Oil and see the way that he did business back in those days. This guy was freaking ruthless.
Oh,
and that's what you're
ruthless.
Seeing. Yes, that's what you're seeing with the healthcare business. So that's why these corporations, and these guys that are into that type of practice, they fear Trump. And they fear him seriously because this is a guy that you can't negotiate with. You can't buy him. The guy doesn't even take a freaking paycheck.
Yeah.
So this is the kind of guy that corporations and corporate America who are into buying politicians and, buying their way into our system, they hate a guy like this because you can't reason with him. You can't negotiate with him. He's erratic. I love the guy personally. So I think that's the best chance we got right now to solve healthcare in this country.
I would agree. I appreciate you pulling up, man. I got a couple other folks I want to pull in today, and then I want to get up out of here because I'm tired. But appreciate you, Rolando, as always. Appreciate you pulling up, man. Adding value.
I'll see you soon.
I'm going to reach out to you
soon, Brother Wise.
Hey, I got your email. I got your number. I'm going to reach out to you. If not today, I'll probably reach out tomorrow, sometime over the weekend or whatever, when I get some time. I'll touch base with you because I want to run a couple of things by you and wrap a taste with you here in a little bit. All right?
Okay, no worries.
All right, bro. Take care, man.
All right. Talk to you soon.
All right. Let me get Spaces in there first, and then we'll get Crystal up to close it out today. What's up with you, brother?
What's going on? I'll be super quick, OG.
All right. Well, yeah, I took the video down, so you ain't got to worry about showcasing yourself.
You sure?
So you have
to.
I just took it down. All good.
So, real quick with the Stephen A. Smith thing, I think, I was, right after our conversation last night, I was like, what I realized Stephen A. Smith is experiencing right now exactly what happens with everyone that starts to speak for the Democratic Party and then say anything at all in opposition to them, because they're for you when you're speaking and you're saying what they want to hear, but as soon as you say something against them, you are the scum of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he's experiencing right now. And just like everyone else has been saying, just like you said, I'm not saying you have to necessarily be conservative, you necessarily have to be Republican. Cool if you I understand when people say you're independent, you have your independent thoughts. Cool. But still, you still have to have a baseline that you stand on. And if every time you start to open your mouth, you start apologizing, nobody's going to take you seriously. And I think Stephen A. Smith is just that. To me right now, he's just an act. He's just a loud voice that a lot of people that can garner attention.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as far as the what's the not the primaries, oh my goodness, what is it? I just had it in my head. The upcoming election. What is it called?
Called the midterms?
Midterms. Yeah, the midterms. As far as the midterms, the only thing I worry about is no matter how much conversation I have about this governmental shutdown, people still think that, it's Trump's fault because it happened under his administration.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I worry
you
about.
just got to all you can do is educate people. People are going to believe whatever it is that they want to believe, right?
Right.
All you can do is educate them. And that's why, I try to, on a multitude of times, on the show, one, explain, and actually it did a video just explaining the filibuster and what it means. Because unfortunately, we have a lot of people in our country that doesn't really understand how our government works. They don't understand how the House works. They don't understand how the Senate works. They don't understand the difference between the three branches of government and how they actually all work together and how they check each other. They don't understand it. And you have to explain, and you almost have to, as Minister Denzel would say, explain it in a way to where a child could understand it. And at that point, if they still don't want to either take heed or believe it, some of these folks are just lost. They're just lost causes. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. It doesn't matter what you tell them. They're just not going to believe it.
Right. It's like vote blue no matter who. It's like a part of their DNA. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. But then with the other question you asked, you said something about when women get into certain positions or something like that. You remember that question?
Yeah. I was asking that, do women feel like when they get into these positions of power that they are above critique? Do they not understand what comes with the job? When you want to be CEO, when you want to be president, when you want to be, a senator or representative or mayor or governor, do they not understand that the criticism comes with the job? It's part of the job description.
I think they understand it. I just still think that it's popular to speak against it in the way that they do. It's like you're speaking against me because I'm a woman, and that's the popular thing to say. And they know that other women are going to rally with that because woman code, I guess, whatever the case. But you know what I think? I think in a lot of cases, what I see when women start to get into positions, they don't. They have what I notice is what they do is they go in and they end up trying to change things in the way that they want to, as opposed to fixing things the way that they are, which causes a whole nother mess.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, in the process, a lot of them are like an invasive species. It's like they'll get into positions that are predominantly dominated by men, and then kick the men out and try to replace the men with other women. So, but like I said, I'll be quick, OG. That was all I got.
Got you. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you pulling up. Appreciate you pulling up last night too as well.
Likewise. Thanks for having me.
All right, bro. Take care, man.
All right.
I want people to understand that, with great great power comes great responsibility. If you want to be in one of these public offices, if you want a large platform, if you want, if you want the fame, you want the applause, if you want all of that, trust me, it also comes with the other end of that spectrum, which is the critique. It comes with that. You can't get half of the equation. It comes with all of it. It comes with all of it, man. And that's why I don't understand it, and it really upsets me. And I'm gonna pull Crystal up here. It really upsets me. What's up, Crystal? How you doing today?
I'm doing well. You just made me run out of my bed, but it's okay.
You could have said, "Hey, I'm sleeping." I'm still in the bed.
Listen, it's okay. It's okay. I was like, you know what? I feel bad because if Wise is up, I guess I should get up too. Even though I went to bed probably 4 or 5 o'clock this morning because I was doing research for my Leviathan. I'm doing a video on the spirit of Leviathan and how it matches with Candace Owens. God showed me that last night. Like at 2 o'clock this morning in my prayer, he was showing me how Candace Owens and Leviathan are in one. So I was up in talks with the Lord and downloading videos. So I was up until about 4.
Okay. Yeah. So answer me this. And we were talking about women who have, for the better part of, at this point now, 60 years or so, fought for the opportunity to be in leadership roles. They want to be CEOs. They want to be senators and representatives and mayors and governors. But it seems like they want to be absolved from the critique and criticism that comes with the job. That's part of the job. You want a large platform. That's like saying, hey, I want a large, YouTube channel that has, millions of subscribers and hundreds of thousands of views on a day-to-day basis, but don't ever criticize me if I say something wrong or something that you don't agree with. Don't ever say anything to me about it. Why is it, or why don't women understand? Just like men understand, hey, I'm running for president. My entire life is about to be turned upside down and x-rayed, and a fine comb tooth is about to be run through my entire life. Men understand what comes with that. Why is it that women feel like they're above the criticism? Like they just don't deserve the same type of treatment that men understand going into it. They understand what they're going to get.
So delusional women believe that, not common sense women. And I say that because, we joke around, Crystal, run for governor, right? We joke around, Crystal, go ahead and run for governor. Since this lady wants to run, you go run. But I already know from jump that my entire life will be ransacked. Every decision I've ever made, every bill I forgot to pay, every ex that I may or may not have, men gonna come out the woodwork, and I'll be like, I don't know you. Yeah, we were together last week. What? I already know these things will come with it. And so
hey, the folks in the chat asked about, what about the guy with the duffel bag?
The duffel bag he will try to find his way back. Yes. And don't worry, I have some items on him to make sure he does not rear his head. But women who understand, they're women that actually understand that. I call them, and I made notes on that. Jasmine Crockett, she's not a servant. This is a role. These type of roles are for people who understand the spirit of being a servant, that you're out here to help people. She's treating this as a diva. That's how she treats this role. This is a celebrity role. I'm a diva. Everyone is supposed to love me. What? You don't love me? What is the problem? And so now I'm going to send my attack dogs after you because I'm a diva and I should be treated like that. People love my TikTok videos and they love when I come up on their TV shows. And I pop off over here and everybody's always clapping for me. And you have the audacity. Okay, I need my rabid pit bulls to go after this person for talking up. That is the mindset of a diva, and that is a problem. And the thing is, where women understand, and I have to say it like this, Wise. Women understand critique because when a woman has a female boss that has that diva mindset, I have worked for women. Women are not nice. I'm just going to tell you, they're not nice. As bosses, not all of them, but because I got into the managerial role and I never looked at it as I am a woman. I looked at it as I'm here to do a job. I'm going to do the job to the best of my ability, and I'm going to do it to honor God. That is what I'm going to do. But again, when a woman looks at it as a see me, see me, see me, this is about me, that pride spirit, then this is what you're going to get. So there are women who they are horrible bosses. They want to, they're very catty. I have worked with women who are just catty. The last woman that I worked for, hopefully she's not watching the video, she was definitely one of those where she was very catty. And she would be talking about people, like she would talk about me to other people, then come back and talk about me, talk about them to me, except we were friends. The other people that she was talking to, we were friends. So we knew exactly what she was saying. And I was able to let HR know, well, this is what she's doing. Y'all don't even understand what type of woman this is. And that is my point. Women are catty. And that's why I said about leadership. Yes, women can lead. Yes, they can. But it has to be a right type of woman, a woman that has common sense, a woman that is centered and understand her role. What am I here to do? Jasmine Crockett, what is my role? Why am I here? I'm here to serve the people. It's not about me becoming famous. I'm not trying to get on Beyonce's level. I'm just trying to serve the people of Texas, the district that I am in charge of. And she doesn't understand that. And I this floating of running for Senate, I would be very careful, because as many have shared, the spirit of Islam, the jihadist group of people, those type of people, the test market was New York, but their goal is Texas.
Yeah, they want Texas big time.
And so you want someone that can stand 10 toes down on this is America and we're not changing anything, and this is how we run America, and so on and so forth. These are the type of people that you want leading your state. You don't represent your state. You don't want anyone like Jasmine Crockett, who it's about a celebrity show for her. She's like love and politics, not love and hip hop, love and politics. That's what she's about.
Wouldn't surprise me one bit if they come out with a show, Love and Politics. Once she's out of there, it wouldn't surprise me one bit. They come out with some reality show like that. That wouldn't surprise me. You know, it's crazy that you say that, because if you recall, Tiffany Hennier, before she got ousted, do you remember when they were coming out here and she basically out of her mouth said, "How dare you say anything about a black woman that's in power? How dare you say something?" Not that what she's doing is wrong. And she wasn't trying to say, "Hey, I'm not doing anything." She was just like, "How dare you call it out? And y'all black. I'm a black woman. Y'all black. How dare you say anything about it?" It's ridiculous.
Exactly. It's the thing that cracks me up about Jasmine Crockett, and mind y'all, I just want y'all to know, this is why I said, why as I did last night, the Bible study that we did. Wednesday nights is our cultural norms that send you to hell. Okay. And the conversation was, politics has become a god. Politics has become a god for Christians. And I'm not talking about everyday people, because everyday people they're God's creations, not God's children. So they don't fall into line, but God's children are allowing politics to become their God. And the reason why I said it is because the same spirit that is running through Jasmine Crockett is the same spirit that's running through Candace Owens. That same exact spirit, that prideful spirit. Jasmine Crockett, I think somebody said she's a PK. She's a preacher's kid.
Yeah. Yeah, her father's a preacher, prominent too, out there in the St. Louis area.
So there you go. You already learned, if you were truly a woman of God, if you truly understood, then when Stephen A. Smith or other people are criticizing, not you, but what you're doing, you take it as, you know what? They're sharing truth. And the word of God says truth is love. When we share the truth, this is love. We're trying to help you get better. We are trying to lift you. The people that sit in your face and lie to you and tell you, no, the ratchetry, that's what I call it, the ratchetry. The ratchetry is so fabulous. Keep up the ratchetry. Keep looking like a clown. Those are the people that you need to remove yourself from. But she's over here and she's attacking because Stephen A. or anybody else speaks about her. And no. You should never speak about me. That's unacceptable. You're being hateful. You're being judgmental. You are attacking a black woman. No, he's speaking truth. And if you really were a woman of God as you claim to be, when you get up on Freddie Haynes' pulpit and be saying you're a woman of God, then you would never say something like that. You would receive the truth that is given to you and make yourself better. But she does not, because she's not a woman of God. And that's what I want people to understand. She is far from it.
Yeah. Well, you judge a tree by the fruit, and based off of her fruit, what she's shown, what she showcased herself to be, is anything but that. She's on the other opposite end of the spectrum when it comes to quote unquote woman of God. And I don't want to be out here judging people and casting aspersions, but I'm just looking at the fruit, and I'm looking at some of the things that she said. There's video right now of her. She was at a church, I believe, out in Connecticut, and telling people in the church that, hey, forsake what the Bible says. I know the Bible says this, but y'all gonna have to get on board with this alphabet community foolishness. Y'all gonna have to get on board. And she went down the list of things that are agendas in the liberal party and a part of the Democrat party, more or less, that Democrat agenda. And she went down a list of like, I know the word of God says this, but y'all gonna have to ignore that for this, because y'all got to get on board with this liberal agenda. She said this. Out of her own mouth, she said this. There's video footage of it. I covered it a while back. So did Clyburn. He did the same thing down in South Carolina. So, I mean, when these people come out and they say these things, it's on us to see it, understand it, and believe it.
Yep.
And don't give them a pass. Too many people are willing to give people pass because they're like, well, they just said it. They just said that so they could get the position. But the word says, what does it profit a man? What does it profit a man to gain to lose his soul but gain the world? So you got so many people making these compromises for a check, making these compromises for a title, making these compromises. You know what I'm saying? And then we're not supposed to say anything about it. You're supposed to just sit back and say, hey, they're black. I know they're compromised, but don't say anything about it.
Exactly.
You know,
except if you are conservative, you can be dragged through mud.
If you're conservative, you're fair game. You can, they'll, not only can you, they will. You're fair game.
That's what I'm saying. And the thing is,
I got a question to ask you.
Sure.
In reference to women bosses, what's your preference? Is the preference a female boss? Is your preference a male boss?
I prefer men.
Really?
I do. I really do, because there's less emotion attached to it. It's cut and dry. You come in there, you do your work. Listen, you know, Rolanda said, Crystal, I know you last night. He said, Crystal, I know you got it crazy because you're from New York. I know he was joking around with that last night. But the thing is, it's not even about being from New York. I'm just I can hang with men. I've always been able to hang with men because my feelings don't get hurt. Like, I don't expect you to treat me like some kind of feather. And I'm talking about at work. I am feminine. I am definitely feminine. And I would like to be treated like a queen by my man. But at home, but at work, if I have to get a job done, I'm going to get the job done. As long as you don't disrespect me. I had a boss at one time, they threw me in the deep end of the pool. They basically said, oh, Crystal seems like she could do this, and we're just going to throw her in there. They promised that they would be by my side the entire time, making sure I was trained up. They did not. And it was one of those sink or swim positions. And I was like, you know what, God, you got this. And I was doing well. And then, that because it was in sales. So, that whole, what have you done for me lately? Because it was kind of slower than it usually is. My boss at the time, as he used to say, I'm a Brazilian hothead. He came, we were on a call. No, we were in a manager's meeting. Everyone is sitting there. And he goes off and he's yelling at everybody. People are basically almost in tears. He gets to me and he starts to drop F-bombs like crazy at me. And I don't start crying. I just pick up my bag, my laptop bag. I've closed up my laptop, closed everything, and I start walking out. He's like, where are you going? I said, listen, if you ever speak to me like that again, I said, I have no problem with you critiquing my work, but what you're not going to do is disrespect me. If I'm showing you respect, you're going to show me respect. I was like, I have no problem if you're telling me I didn't do something wrong. If I didn't do something right and you want to correct me, then correct me. But don't talk to me like that. I'm never going to let anyone speak to me like that. respect. And in that moment, he stopped and he was like, I apologize, Crystal. I truly apologize. And after that, I put everything down, sat back down, started working, and that changed our relationship thereafter. Now he still cussed out all the other men and women at the company, but he never came at me like that. And that's what I mean. I can work with a man. Just don't you can correct me, you can tell me when I'm wrong, you can tell me when I need to fix something, you can tell me if I'm slipping. Just don't disrespect me because I'm not disrespecting you. A lot of them, but on the other side, when you have a female boss, she sometimes comes in like a wolf in sheep's clothing. So she comes off real nice, real cool. She may be talking about you to somebody else because she doesn't like something about you. She's concerned that you may be a threat to her. I had a friend just recently. I mean, we're still friends, but I have a friend who was going through something like that just recently, where the woman, she thought this woman and her, great. The woman seemed real nice and so on and so forth. And the woman secretly thought that because my friend knew so much in this position, she thought that she was threatened by my friend. So my friend was like, hey, can you show me how to? And the woman did not want to show it to her. And then when things couldn't get done and the higher bosses are asking, why isn't this getting done? And they asked my friend, why don't you understand how to do this? Aren't you, did so-and-so not train you? And she's like, no, I've been asking her. And my friend, that whole CYA. So she had all the documentation to prove it. So she was able to show them. I've been asking, but she's not showing. When women feel threatened, when women can be catty, women can have they're hormonal, so you don't know what kind of day you're having with them. That's why I say I prefer a male boss. When you're coming or you're going, you know how it goes.
Interesting. I've had both. I've never had issues out of either side. Honestly, I've worked on a team. There was one team I had where I was the lead. We had a director, but I don't know if this was by design, but our entire office was men. She was the director over the office, and then she would reach out to me. But our entire office was men, and it ran we just did what needed to be done. Now we work commission based. So when you work commission based, you don't need somebody over your back to tell you to close deals. You're going to do what needs to be done because your money is on the line. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, so I never really had, any issues, with it. And, I had another job where it was a similar situation where, our manager was a lady and our entire team was men. And then she eventually hired one woman after she had hired like 4 or 5 guys. But we just did what needed to be done. And, I guess, I don't know, maybe because she just knew like, hey, man, let's stay out these guys' way because we make her money by doing what we do at a high level. We were making her a ton of money. So she would basically be there to just sign off paperwork. Like, hey, I'm going on vacation, sign off on this, sign off on that. Other than that, it was cool. But I have heard, that some of the cattiness that happens, and especially some people I know that are nurses, and they were like, man, it's very catty, in some of these jobs where it's, highlight a lot of nurses. And obviously, the nursing industry, it seems like it's probably what, 70, 80% women, probably. And I've heard some situations where it was, pretty catty.
Yeah, that's the same thing with commercial real estate, because I was in commercial real estate. You remember before I did this full time, I was in commercial real estate and commercial property management for commercial real estate. And usually it's a lot of women that's involved in that. The men are usually part of the engineering teams and things like that, but it's mainly women that are, the property managers, the assistant property managers. There's usually those type of situations. And when I say the cattiness, you're just like, whoa. And it's funny, like what you were just saying. There could be a situation, I'm not saying with your situation, but there could be a situation where a woman is leading and she has all men, and then the first woman she brings in that comes in, all of a sudden the environment changes. The woman with all the men, everything was running smoothly, and then the minute that that woman shows up, everything changes. And even the men will say, something's different around here. Yeah, something is definitely different, because it's they my ex used to say this, there's always this hidden, unspoken competition when it comes to women. certain women, because some women, they're always in competition, where some women are like, look, I'm just trying to get through the day. I got bills to pay. I got things to do. Where other women are like I said, like a Jasmine Crockett. I just want to be seen, and I'm the diva, and I am the head woman in charge, and everyone should be kissing my feet like the woman did at the radio station. That's what they think.
I still can't believe that happened. Goodness gracious. I can't believe not only did it happen, but the fact that she allowed it to happen. Even if somebody like dude, if you know, and hopefully none of y'all would ever do this. But if I met any of you guys and y'all walked up was like, oh my gosh, let me kiss you. It's like, man, back up off me, man. Like, what are we doing? I wouldn't allow you to do it. Like, no way. No. No, we're not doing that. So ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous. That's what I said. That's a different type of spirit that Jasmine Crockett has. And it's running rampant right now. Through the left and the right. We watched Marjorie Taylor Greene tuck her tail between the legs and having liberal newspapers and TV shows saying, we like Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's amazing. And you're just like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Because again, there are women who they will be the wolf in sheep's clothing, Marjorie Taylor Greene. They will be the diva, Jasmine Crockett. They will be the Leviathan, Candace Owens. They will be all of those different things because they have something in mind, and you just have to be careful of these women. You really, really do.
Yeah. With that being said, we're gonna get out of here. We'll be back at this thing tomorrow. Crystal will be here tomorrow morning for the panel show. It should be fun. I'm not sure what we're going to discuss today, but if you do
I'm
want
gonna
to call
tell you,
something, send it over to me.
AT said on TikTok, and I promised him I was going to tell on him. He said, I'm the youngest amongst a bunch of old people. I just want you to know. I just want you to know. And I told him, he said, well, Crystal going to tell on me. I was like, yeah, I am going to tell on you. Mm-hmm.
Is he? Yeah, we'll have to make sure we have to get on him tomorrow for sure. We have to get on him. He's the youngest amongst a bunch of old people. Interesting. Interesting. Tell us how you really feel, AT. Sheesh.
Right?
Goodness gracious. Hey, I look at it like this. When I was in my 20s, I remember seeing people that were in their 40s and was like, goodness gracious, they old. Thinking that. And now that I'm someone in my 40s, I don't feel old like that.
Me
either. You know, I don't feel old. Now it is, when I see my kids, they make me feel old because I remember them as my babies, my little boys. I remember them, and I was just looking at some pictures of my kids from, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 years ago, and was like, man, look at how young they look. Goodness gracious. That made me feel old. You know what I'm saying? Because they're grown men with hair and stuff on their faces and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Here.
With deep voices. But my youngest son, he used to say stuff all the time. Right, Dad? Like he'd always want me to agree with him. Like, right, he'd say something, right, Dad?
But I love when, this weekend was my mom. This past weekend was my mama's birthday. And Jasmine in the comments, happy belated, my love.
Happy birthday, Jasmine! Belated, happy. Why didn't you let us know? Was it over the weekend or something?
Yeah, her birthday was.
She should have said something on Monday. We would have showed you some, or said something on Friday. Come on now, speak up. Closed mouth don't get fed.
So we went out and they were looking, and they were like, sisters? With my mom, my sister, and myself, and my daughter. And it's not that anybody looks old. It's just that my mom is youthful, super youthful at 70. Awesome. So people look and they're like, are y'all all sisters? Oh, so if I say mom, something, they're like, that's your mom? I'm like, yeah, that's my mom. Because again, that's that youth. Wise, you got that youth. If you look back, when they make those jokes and they show those old TV shows like Brady Bunch or the Jeffersons and say they were 30 or 40 when they were filming that show, they look old. We don't look old. I'm just gonna tell you right now, we don't look old.
True. Now, if I cut this beard off, I shave this beard off. Oh man, I'll cut 10 years off. Y'all be looking at me like, this dude's late 20s, early 30s.
Exactly.
It mess y'all up. Yeah. I've been thinking about it. It might happen one day. I'm not gonna tell y'all that it's happened. I'm just gonna pull up one day. You're gonna be like, what the heck happened?
Yeah. Now wifey will be like, excuse me. Excuse me, where's my beard? I get.
Well,
I
I
already
won't go
know,
completely, I won't go completely naked, no hair. I used to rock the goatee back in the day. I was a goatee guy. You know what I'm saying? The only thing with the goatee is that it is maintenance because you got to shave it, on a day-to-day basis. You got to shave it.
Yeah.
With this, I don't necessarily have to do too much to it on a day-to-day basis. I can tighten it up. When I worked in the office, I used to, I used to tighten it up on a day-to-day basis. But, now I'm more, every couple of days. But
Can I just say, Marcy, I saw your comments and I love you, honey. I would just say, if anyone, because I want people to understand when I speak about Candace Owens, because I saw a couple of comments. When I speak about Candace Owens, it's not about Candace Owens' care for Charlie Kirk. I am seeing it from a spiritual aspect. I'm seeing it from what she's doing spiritually, and God is not happy with it at all. So when I say that there's a Leviathan spirit, when I say that there's pride, it's because there's a darker thing that's happening with the church, with the body of Christ, where she's even having people question their faith and question anything to do with God. And I'm seeing it all over online. That's the spirit of division that's happening right there. So I just want people to know it's not an attack on Candace, because I always used to enjoy watching Candace, but I see the spiritual ramifications of what she's doing.
Let me show some love to Amber as well in the chat. Happy birthday to you, Amber. Happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Outstanding. Jasmine as well. Y'all show Amber and Jasmine some love in the chat. Show them some love. Let us know how old you are. With you 65?
Jasmine turned 44.
Jasmine turned 44? Okay. All right. The big 4-4. Look, not too much younger than me. Okay, she's part of the crew. She's right here with the 40s crowd. She's part of the crew. But yeah, I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about shaving this thing off and going back to the goatee for a little bit. I mean, I can always grow this back out. But I've been thinking about it, but it won't happen in November because this is Movember. So
this is what is it called?
Movember.
Movember? Is that what they call it?
Movember. You got to keep that beard, keep your beards growing. And for those that don't normally rock a beard, this is the month that you're supposed to grow it out.
Okay.
So it won't happen, but I'm just gonna pop up and I'm not even gonna say anything. Just pop up and be like, they're gonna be like, who is this guy?
Please do it on the Friday show. Do it on the Friday channel show so we could all just be in just pure shock in the middle of the show. No one can focus. Or maybe on a Wednesday,
change it up.
Maybe on a Wednesday where Rolando and Josh would be losing their minds. Rolando, Josh, and Space would be like, "Wait, what happened? Now, why is this coming in a different way?" Yeah,
wifey likes the beard, but when I met her, I didn't have a beard. I actually was rocking the goatee when we met. So she got with your guy. You know what I'm saying? She got with your brother. You know what I'm saying? Without it.
Right.
So I don't worry. As long as I don't shave everything off. I did make the mistake, and even the kids got on me. I was trimming up my mustache, and I made a mistake. So I was like, well, I'll just cut it off. It'll grow back. It grows back a couple of days. It'll grow back. Holy smokes, man. I came out that daggone, everybody was clowning me. Everybody in the house. Wifey, the kids, they like, Dad, don't ever do that again.
Why do men do that? And I say that because my dad did that to me when he was a kid. When I was a kid, he went to the barber, and it was back in like the 80s, y'all, 80s and 90s, and he had one of those rat tail with the flat top.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
That's accidentally cut some of it, right? And they didn't cut it off; they just cut some of it. My daddy shaved his entire head bald because they messed up, and I was just like, it freaked me out. Why do men do that? Can you explain to me real quick why men just shave off everything just because of one mistake?
Because we just can't be out here looking crazy. We can't. We'd rather just cut it on off. I did the same thing going to boot camp. Before I went to boot camp, I like to control things. So before going to boot camp, I was like, I know they're gonna cut my hair bald. So guess what I did? I balded it myself. I was like, I'm going to take that from y'all. I'm not going to give you the satisfaction of looking at me, looking crazy. No, I'm going to do it. And therefore, it's not even a shock to me because I did it to myself.
Right.
I took the power and said, you know what? I'll cut it off myself. And that's what I did. And so we'll see. We'll see. I'm not gonna tell wifey though. I'm just gonna do it, because if I tell her that I'm gonna do it, she'll try to talk me out of not doing it. So if I do it, I'm just gonna do it, and she's gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that." When I cut all my facial hair off, she started calling me Reginald. She's like, "Don't ever do that again." Like I was like, "A Reginald? Like why Reginald?" She's like, "You look like a Reginald now." It's like,
I love that. I love that. I love it.
I was like, "Goodness gracious! Like, come on now." She wasn't real happy with it. Neither was the kid. The kids was clowning like, "Dad, don't ever do that again. That don't look good. Don't ever do that again."
That is hilarious.
Your family, they'll tell you how they really feel. Your family, they'll tell you the truth.
Yeah. You saw the pictures that I sent you last night?
I saw. Okay. I wouldn't say on the nerdier side of things, but I understand.
I was a nerd.
Athlete. Hey, it looked like you were playing. Was that tennis?
Yeah.
So you're one of those rich kids, tennis lessons and stuff like that. Okay.
Actually, my dad is a professional tennis coach. Up to this date, he's a professional tennis coach.
You know what? You did say that. You did say that.
So yeah, I played tennis, but I was still a nerd. I guess I was the nerd athlete because I used to be like geeked up to the 10th power, and I would be at the front of class answering all the questions. I was that girl. So, and then I was an athlete. I think that's one thing I was the same.
Yeah, and that's the problem right there. See, you were that, and then still wasn't interested in the little nerdy dudes right next to you.
Wrong.
Sitting right next to you. Zero interest in those guys. Probably had a crush on you.
Wrong. The nerdy dudes wanted the popular girls. That's what they wanted. Listen, me and Dion already discovered it after what you told us. Thank you for the lesson. The nerdy guys didn't want us because we were the nerds, and the popular guys didn't want us because they wanted the popular girls. So there you go.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. One of my next door neighbors, I'm not gonna call his name out, but one of my next door neighbors, he was on the square side of things. Good dude though. Good dude. Gets married, and then the women are like, "I can't believe he married that girl." It was like, y'all wasn't checking for him back in the day.
Exactly.
Y'all wasn't checking for him at all back in the day. Why are y'all concerned with what he's doing right now?
Exactly.
Like, I don't get it. And he was definitely on the, he was a bunch of right angles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was a bunch of right angles, and it's okay. He was still a good dude. Still a good dude, and ignored. Ignored. And for those of you guys starting to figure out what does it mean, a bunch of right angles, he was a square.
Yes.
Just a bunch of right angles. And they didn't, nobody was checking for him like that. But he's doing well for himself now. And we were like, I can't believe. And he's just like, well, you had a chance.
Exactly.
You weren't interested.
Exactly. Listen, I don't give anybody a hard time except for Rolando. Everybody else, yeah.
Rolando believes that he has a chance. I think Rolando might show himself up in Atlanta with a duffel bag.
No, don't you even dare. Don't you even dare. No, sir.
Rolando gonna pull up in the truck, duffel bag and all. You're like, hey, I'm here. I'm just here for the weekend.
I'm good. I'm good on that. No. Listen, them dogs is ready. We ain't playing that game again. I got a dog now. Ain't nobody playing that game. Never again.
Hey, Rolando's a good dude, man. Rolando's a good dude. Okay.
You see the side eye.
I see the side eye.
I'm not
Y'all
saying
gonna get off
Rolando's,
my guy, man. Y'all gonna get off my guy, Rolando.
I'm not saying Rolando's not a good guy, but Rolando and I are like oil and water. Okay, you don't mix the two. You don't mix the two, because again, I love to treat a man like he's my king, but I don't do the machismo bits. I don't do machismo. That is a little bit too much. That's a little.
If he dials back on the machismo, does he have a chance?
Nope, because as Southern charisma reminded me last night, but Rolando said he likes the women that are like 145 pounds.
Oh, he said that?
Yeah, he said that. He said that a couple of shows back. And the thing is, that's great for him. I love my curvaceousness. I am a Caribbean woman born and raised in New York, and I love my curves. Okay, I love all of my curves. Yes, I believe in toning and keeping cute, but I love my curves. This is a blessing. I went. You saw how small I was in those pictures.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they used to call me bobblehead. That's the thing. That's why I said I was a nerd. They used to call me bobblehead because they said my head was bigger than the rest of my body. Okay. And
Yo,
then
kids are cruel, man. Goodness
right?
gracious. Kids are cruel. They don't care.
And then
They
Crystal
don't
grew up
care.
and got weight on her body and started getting curves and started look, as people say, you look like a woman. Amen. So I
Oh, is that when you turned your nose up on the squares and nerds? You turned your nose up, huh? Gained a little weight and was like, I ain't messing with y'all no more.
I ain't even gonna lie. The minute I was in high school and I got rid of the glasses, I got the contacts. I went to Florida and I saw how they dress in Florida, and I came back to New York dressing more like the Floridians, because I used to just wear like a lot of sweats and things because I was an athlete.
Yeah, sweats and Timberland boots, New Yorkers, which is not attractive.
But then, whatever. But then,
it's not attractive.
But then
not attractive for ladies to be walking around in big combat boots. Like, come on now.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I agree with you in that, because I did switch and I put on the heels and the dresses and stuff, and the guys in school recognize me now as a woman, as a female, not a woman, because I was in high school, and all the boys that started hitting on me, I was like, I don't even see you, because you ain't see me when I was wearing glasses. You ain't see me when I was looking this way, so don't see me now. Yes, I did switch up, because I was like, you didn't see me then.
Yeah, see that? Yeah, tell us the truth now. Come on now.
Wise. You can't, if you didn't see me in quote unquote the ugly days, you can't see me now when I look different. We just don't see you don't see me. The people who actually were kind to me, yeah, I'm kind to you and we cool. But you ain't gonna see me now because now I'm wearing dresses and heels, but you didn't see me then? Nah, I'm good. That's how I see it.
Well, I tell you, y'all women, y'all are something else. Boy, I tell you, y'all something else. Goodness gracious.
We're gonna have to do a whole show. I sent you a video that maybe one day you can add to the Wednesday night, where the woman was arguing about the man with the umbrella. Did you see that?
Did you? I don't know if you sent it. I don't know if I've seen it. If you sent it to me, I know I got it, but I haven't looked at it yet. But yeah, we can add that. We have to add that in there. We can handle. I can handle that. We can do that.
I agree.
All right, we're gonna get up out of here. All right, Crystal. Take care. I'll see you in the morning.
Yes.
Well, actually, I might be on Bible study tonight, so I might jump on there for a little bit. So I may see you later tonight.
All right.
All righty. Take care, Crystal.
Bye.
All righty. We're going to get ready to get up out of here. A couple super chats I want to read really quick. Shout out to Hunter coming through with the $5 super chat. Says, needing to ask, did the updated video I sent you yesterday be the one that you were looking for, Wise? The first one was closer to it. The second one, it wasn't. There was a video that I saw. I think it was added a little more detail, but I do appreciate the efforts. Thank you, Iva Martin, for the $2 super sticker. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. And who was that? I think it was the Fit Accountant. Is that accurate? Shout out to you as well. Thank you and happy Veterans Day. Appreciate the love. Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate you supporting. I think it was the Fit Accountant. I could be wrong on that. And if I am, my apologies. Look at that. The real Pastor P said she ain't got that shoulder out. Chris already gone. Goodness gracious, I missed it. Well, appreciate you guys, man. Appreciate y'all pulling up today. Again, happy birthday, Jasmine. Happy birthday, Amber. Y'all make sure y'all show them some love in the chat. We're gonna be back at this thing tomorrow. Y'all know what time it is. It's Friday, the panel show. I'm not exactly sure what we're discussing tomorrow. I'll be working on that here in a little bit. But hopefully you guys will pull up. Come hang out with us. Thank you to the guests that pulled up today. Spaces, Rolando, Crystal, Amethyst Angel, and did I miss somebody? I missed somebody, and I'm sorry. But thank you guys for pulling up today. Everybody that support the channel financially this morning, this afternoon, thank you guys as well. Appreciate you guys supporting what we're doing over here. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. Oh, it was Yolanda. That's who it was. Goodness gracious. Thank you, Crystal. Shout out to you, Yolanda. My apologies. Thank you for pulling up today as well. All my ARP family members, thank you guys very much. for supporting me and supporting what we're doing over here. Thank you guys very much. And shout out to all the blues. B, Zephyr K9, Lori Addison, Renee Suzanne, thank you very much. Who else? Dion, LJ, shout out to you guys. Thank you guys very much. I think Zephyr K9, hopefully I did say her name. Thank you guys for helping to keep things peaceful in the chat, as always. And we're going to get out of here, man. Shout out to you guys, man. Enjoy the Thursday. Enjoy this Friday Eve. The weekend is right around the corner. Goodness gracious. And then before you know it, man, Monday will be here like it's nobody's business. Time flies, man, when you're having fun, man. So, hey, happy birthday to the birthday women. Happy birthday, Jasmine, Amber. Hope you guys enjoy your day or enjoyed your day. Happy birthday to you all, man. Thank you guys very much for supporting what we're doing over here. And as always, keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you guys next time. Y'all take care, man. Peace.
We won't stop. I won't quit. Stand for the truth. No counterfeit. Real ones rise. Let the fake ones split. Repent for the lies. Let the